Chapter 1108. She didn't know if she should use Wang Zhu as the director for the drama she invested in. She was working with Tsang Hong. According to Tsang Hong's methods, the director must be Wang Zhu. Thinking of that she felt really uncomfortable. After filming, Wang Zhu saw Tang Bao and immediately came over. Mr. Tang. He even handed Tang Go a cigarette. I'm sorry, Director Wang, I don't smoke. Alright then. By the way, I heard that Mr. Tang is preparing a drama about youth? Yes. Is there an investor? It seems to be Ibao Studio and Tsang Hong, ha ha. Tang Bao laughed. Wang Zhu thought for a moment and said, How about this? I know an investor who can help you lead. I guarantee there won't be a problem. How about it? Really? With Director Wang's guarantee, I'll definitely have no problem. Okay, are you free tonight? Let's go together, Meng Shi and Qing Ju. They're your artists anyway. By the way, President Qin will be there too. The more the merrier, what do you think? Director Wang suggested sincerely. Besides, Hu and Tsang Hong didn't know that the person behind Ibao Studio was T. How could they not be sincere? They didn't even dare to have a fishy smell. Of course. Tang Bao smiled. Meng Shi didn't have any objections. He just wanted him to go anyway. Moreover, he didn't know how to ask Tang Gu out alone. He felt that if he asked him out alone, Tang Gu would definitely refuse. This way, he would have a chance. However, since he was going out to play, he definitely had to tell the castle. He originally wanted to call the castle, but after thinking about it, he still called Di Haotian. However, after calling once, Di Haotian didn't pick up. Who are you calling? Meng Shi came over. It's none of your business. Tang Bao moved away from him to make the call. Meng Shi's expression was ugly. What kind of phone call couldn't he know? Could it be that he was calling the king of D City? He suddenly felt a wave of jealousy in his heart and almost drowned him. Tang Bao called Di Haotian but no one picked up, so he had no choice but to call the castle. Hello? Zhang Li's voice came over the phone. Zhang Li, is Di Haotian back? Tang Bao asked. Not yet. Is something the matter, young madam? No, I said that I won't be coming back for dinner next night. I'm going to have dinner with the crew. Young madam, why didn't you call the young master? It would be better to call young Master D. Zhang Li felt that he had been worrying too much about their matters. I can't do anything if he doesn't pick up my calls. Ah! Anyway, I've already told you. When the children come back, tell them that I'll be back later. Let them go to bed early. Yes. After hanging up the phone, Tang Bao was very upset and angry. It seemed that Di Haotian really didn't want to talk to her. He must have done it on purpose. What was he trying to do? Avoiding her to get all lovey-dovey with Mia? Di Haotian sat behind his desk, waiting for his phone to ring again. But he didn't. After ringing once, it went silent, as if the phone was broken. Di Haotian kept paying attention to his phone and couldn't do anything else. He originally thought that he would pick up the phone after Tang Bao called for the second time, but she didn't call anymore. Why? Did she think that his anger would disappear after she climbed into his bed? Or did she lose her patience? This damned woman! She watched Tang Bao leave. Where did she go? Back to the castle? Di Haotian picked up his phone and made a call. Call the castle and ask if she's back. He Ju, who was standing outside the door, glanced at the tightly shut office door and thought to himself, why didn't you just call directly? Why did you circle around here? After He Ju finished making the call, he didn't go into the office. Instead, he used his phone to make a call. Young Master D, the castle said that young madam called the castle and said that she won't be back for dinner tonight. She'll be back late and will have dinner with the crew. Di Haotian was so angry that he smashed his phone on the table. She actually dared to ignore him like this. If Tang Bao knew what Di Haotian was thinking, he would definitely refute. I'm the one who called you and you didn't pick up. How could you blame me? That's too unreasonable. At night, after the set wrapped up, They went out to eat, drink, and have fun. When they ate, there were only a few people on the set. When night fell and they started to have fun in the bar, people started to come one after another. There were artists, investors, and the higher-ups of Song Hong. In the end, the one who came was actually CEO Qin. Tang Bao immediately stood up and greeted him. CEO Qin, hello. I didn't expect you to come. I'm very surprised. CEO Tang, you're too polite. Have a seat. Qin Mo sat down. He had a straight posture and a black suit. His every move was so gentle, just like a harmless thing. Who would have thought that he would be the CEO of Song Hong? After everyone arrived, they started to warm up very quickly. They were all related to Song Hong and were naturally familiar with each other. However, with Qin Mo around, they were still a little reserved when they played. Tang Bao thought, what was Red 7 doing? She didn't come? Wasn't she Qin Mo's close assistant? Shouldn't she be nearby if she was close? CEO Tang, when will the filming of the TV series you invested in start? The investor asked. If the investment is in place, it will start immediately. That's good. Count me in, the investor said straightforwardly. CEO Li, you're so straightforward. Let me toast you. Tang Bao raised his glass. The investor was happy to have a drink. Tang Bao naturally had to drink as well. Although she knew that it was so easy to get investors because of T's big backer, she had no choice. She couldn't say that she had nothing to do with T, right? She didn't say anything about T. If she said it, wouldn't it be like exposing herself? Just as Tang Bao was in a daze, the investor beside her seemed to have something to say to her. And he was very enthusiastic. He directly patted Tang Bao's leg. CEO Tang. Tang Bao pushed the hand away instinctively and crossed one leg over the other. Such an intense reaction was obvious. Some people were focused on playing and didn't notice their actions, but some people saw it. After all, Meng Shi, Qing Ju, and the shrewd Qin Mo saw it clearly. His gaze was slightly restrained. No one could tell what he was thinking. Meng Shi's expression was very ugly. He really wanted to squeeze in between Tang Bao and the investor. But if he did that, Tang Bao would definitely scold him when he went back. He could only bear with it. The investor was stunned by Tang Bao's intense reaction, but he didn't say anything. This was the man under T's protection. Who dared to offend him? He still wanted to get close to her, but he was rejected. Perhaps his behavior was too offensive. After all, not everyone liked physical contact. But this really didn't seem like a man's behavior. CEO Tang, how's your script going? I'm contacting the scriptwriter. Don't worry. Tang Bao also knew that she had overreacted, but how could she pretend that nothing had happened in such a situation? Come and see. Xinwu 799. Chapter 1109. After all, she was a woman. She couldn't accept a stranger touching her thigh. Since someone gave her a way out, she would naturally go along with it. That's good. If you have any difficulties, just tell me directly, the investor said. You're too polite. But if I have any difficulties, I will definitely look for you. At this moment, someone suggested to Qin Mo, CEO Qin, a famous model came here recently. Her looks and figure are top-notch. Why don't we get her to serve you? Qin Mo smiled gently and glanced at Tang Bao. No need. You guys have fun. Hearing Qin Mo's rejection, Zhao Shijin hurriedly said, Why are you calling her a female model? Isn't there a ready-made woman here? Ha! Although these words were said to ease the atmosphere, they naturally felt uncomfortable when they heard it. What did he take a female artist for? However, since they were here to have fun on such an occasion, they definitely wouldn't be too serious. A female artist pouted. Xiao Zhao, you really save money. Ha ha, I'm just joking. Don't be angry. Tang Bao smiled. I'm going to the washroom. Then he stood up and left the private room. Actually, there was a washroom inside. However, he came out to take a breather or to see if Red 7 had come. Then he saw Red 7 at the bar counter not far away. Tang Bao walked over and patted her shoulder. Red 7, who was bored, had the urge to scold him. "I told you not to seduce me again." She turned around and was surprised. "Tang Bao? Who seduced you?" "It's a strange man who I don't know. If I knew I was going to come to the bar, I would have worn my beggar outfit. Why are you here? Don't tell me you're in the same room as Chin Mo?" "Yeah. Didn't he tell you?" "He didn't tell me anything. I'm not interested." "Why aren't you here?" "I'm not willing to go in. Men and women don't suit me. So I'm here." "So I came out to take a breather." Tang Bao thought of something and asked, "How is your marriage with CEO Qin?" "I won't be bullied. Don't worry." Tang Bao looked at her suspiciously. "What? You don't believe me? Qin Mo was beaten up by me. It's not like you didn't see it," Red 7 said weakly. She knew deep down that she had her fists, but Qin Mo had his intelligence. No, he was sinister. Often, she would be rendered speechless by him, and she would be so angry that she wanted to beat him up. "I believe you," Tang Bao said. He didn't think so in his heart. However, she believed that Qin Mo wouldn't go as far as to marry a woman and bully her, right? Even if it was bullying, it would only be a small matter. "Are you planning to stay outside and not go in?" "I'm not going in. If I go in, people will definitely want to drink with me. My personal assistant in Songhong is already very strange. If I go in again, I don't know what those drunk people will say." Red 7 seemed to have thought of something. She grabbed Tang Bao's hand and begged, "Can you tell Qin Mo later that you need me to sleep with you tonight?" I don't think that's a good idea." "What's wrong with it?" "I really don't want to be under the same roof as Qin Mo, but you're married. If I do this, won't President Qin hate me?" Tang Bao would never break up a loving couple. Qin Mo walked out of the private room. When he went outside, he saw Red 7 holding Tang Ji's hand tightly, her face full of sadness. His gaze was slightly dark as he walked over. Without saying anything, Red 7 automatically let go of Tang Bao's hand. She didn't feel that there was anything wrong with her words and only asked Qin Mo, "Are you going back?" "Go into the private room." "You don't have to, right?" "I'm fine here. I'll just wait for you to finish." "Aren't you afraid of being harassed if you stay here?" "If you knew that I would be harassed, why did you bring me here? What were your intentions?" "Let's go." Qin Mo smiled at Tang Bao and turned to leave. Red 7 watched as Qin Mo left and frowned. What's wrong with this person? Previously, he said that it was fine to just stay outside. Now he wants me to go into the private room? Tang Bao smiled. Go in. You're bored here alone. Meng Shi and Qing Ju are inside. All right. Red 7 followed Tang Bao into the private room. After entering, Qing Ju saw her and smiled. Red 7, you're here. Yes, I just came. Qing Ju was about to give up his seat to Red 7. Come, sit here, Qin Mo spoke first. Qing Ju naturally couldn't give up his seat. Red 7 would rather sit in the corner than sit beside Qin Mo. She always felt that this person was too sinister and didn't know what he wanted to do. But she couldn't just ignore him. She could only bite the bullet and walk over and sit beside Qin Mo. Qin Mo poured her a glass of wine and handed it to her. I don't know how to drink. Red 7 refused. In fact, she didn't want to drink. Qin Mo chuckled and grabbed Red 7's hand. The touch made her tremble and she wanted to break free. However, Qin Mo stuffed the wine glass into her hand good-naturedly. Don't drink too much. It's okay. That gentle voice and the way he touched her hand made the others look down as if they didn't see or hear anything. No matter how thick-skinned Red 7 was, her face was still hot because of Qin Mo F***ck. Was Qin Mo itching for a beating again? He must be doing it on purpose. Wouldn't the people in Songhong immediately know about her ambiguous relationship with Qin Mo? There was no need to guess. But she couldn't beat him up in front of so many people, so she could only hold back and hold the wine glass. Only then did Qin Mo let go of her hand. Red 7 felt that the hand that was wrapped just now still had a temperature that didn't belong to her. More importantly, Qin Mo still wanted to drink with her. Red 7 looked at the wine glass in front of her and that handsome and refined face. She wanted to splash the wine in her hand. She wanted to embarrass Qin Mo. However, thinking was just thinking. Red 7 couldn't really do it. She raised her glass and clinked it gently. Then, she drank the wine in the glass in one gulp. Red 7's facial features instantly distorted. F***ck, this wine was too strong. She remembered drinking this wine when she was still in university. What was Qin Mo planning to do? He actually made her drink it again. Drink slowly, Qin Mo reminded her kindly. Red 7's impulse to beat him up was getting more and more obvious. Drink slowly? Why didn't you tell me to drink slowly when you asked me to? She looked at the others again. They all had a normal expression and were chatting and laughing with the people around them. In fact, their ears were pricked up and they kept glancing over here. Then, she looked at Qin Mo's elegant smile and felt hatred in her heart. Fine, Qin Mo, I'll teach you a lesson when I get back. Tang Bao was also there pretending to talk to Qing Ju. In fact, his gossipy eyes kept glancing over at Red 7. If Qin Mo did this, the people in Songhong would know that Red 7 wasn't just his personal assistant. Hongcha 866. Chapter 11:10. It wasn't hard for Tang Bao to guess that Red 7 couldn't win against the cunning Qin Mo at all. After all, this world didn't rely on fists to speak. But Red 7 couldn't be blamed. She wasn't an ordinary person who could fight against Qin Mo's cunning. Tang Bao definitely couldn't handle it. Poor Red 7. She was Qin Mo's schoolmate and even had such an affinity with him. It must have been destined to be like this. Red 7 didn't just drink one glass. She drank several glasses because of Qin Mo. Later on, when Qin Mo touched her hand and hugged her waist, Red 7 didn't react. Songhong's people thought, no wonder he didn't want a female model. He brought one himself. When she left, Red 7's entire body was swaying. Tang Bao was sober. He watched as Red 7 was carried into the car by Qin Mo. Aya, baby, I'm going back. Tang Bao waved at her. For some reason, when Red 7 called him baby, Qin Mo's face changed under the dim light. Because of the backlight, Tang Bao didn't see it clearly. But Tang Baoguang didn't need to think to know. His woman called another man baby. It really shouldn't be. Red 7 was brought into the car and left in Qin Mo's car. Tang Bao, Meng Shi, and Qing Ju stood outside. They didn't plan to go in. The others definitely hadn't had enough fun. I'm going back first. You two should go back too. It's not easy to deal with those people when they drink too much, Tang Bao said especially to Qing Ju. What about me? Why don't you care about me? Meng Shi was jealous. What's wrong with you? Who would lay their hands on you? Tang Bao said angrily. Why not? Those women's eyes can't wait to eat me. Meng Shi said unhappily. He tried to act pitiful and weak in front of Tang Bao. You can push them away when they want to eat you. With your strength, you can't push a woman away, right? I'm very strong. Do you want to try? Meng Shi asked ambiguously. Tang Bao rolled his eyes. Who would want to try it? I'm going back. Be careful on the road, Tang Bao said as he got into the car. You too. Qing Ju waved at her. Tang Bao sat in the back seat. Although she drank, she knew her limits and did not let herself get drunk. He took out his phone from his briefcase and checked the caller ID, but there was nothing. Actually, she just wanted to see if Di Haotian had called her, but he hadn't. Di Haotian, you'd better not let me find out that you're in contact with Mia, or I'll teach you a lesson. After Tang Bao returned to the castle, Zhang Li hurried over. Young madam, the young master is in the room. Room? Tang Bao thought that he would be in the study. After all, he was angry with her. There was no joy on Tang Bao's face. He walked upstairs as if nothing had happened. She went back to her bedroom. Di Haotian was indeed there. He was sitting on the sofa in his pajamas, facing the computer in front of him. It seemed that he had taken a shower. Tang Bao glanced at him and did not say anything. He put his briefcase aside and turned to enter the bedroom. He took his clothes and went to take a shower. Di Haotian's face was cold, but it was tense. Not only did Tang Bao not speak to him, but she also ignored him and went into the bathroom. Was this the attitude to make him angry? Di Haotian threw the documents in his hand on the coffee table with a bang. His face was extremely cold, and the temperature of the entire room dropped because of him. It was very scary. However, Tang Bao, who was taking a shower in the bathroom, did not have such awareness. She felt that Di Haotian must be very happy that she did not talk to him at this moment. Perhaps he was talking to Mia behind her back. No, He-ju was helping to contact Mia. Even if she wanted to find evidence, she would not be able to find it. No matter why Di Haotian contacted Mia, Tang Bao was angry. After taking a shower, Tang Bao went straight to bed. He lay on the bed and felt quite tired. There was no movement outside, and Tang Bao did not want to look for Di Haotian. He closed his eyes and prepared to sleep. In less than 3 minutes, he fell asleep. When Di Haotian went in, Tang Bao was already asleep. He was so angry that he wanted to kick the bed. He raised his leg, but he could not bear to kick it. At this moment, he was still worried about whether he would scare Tang Bao. Di Haotian's face became even colder. Seven rummaged in the fridge, looking for a bottle of water to drink, but she could not find it. Wasn't the water in the fridge? Qin Imo, who was holding a bottle of mineral water, walked over from behind. He saw her rummaging in the fridge drunkenly and handed the water to her. "Ah, so you are here. You made me look for you." Seven reached out to take it. Qin Imo took it back. "Give it to me, I'm thirsty." Seven snatched it impatiently. "Who is Bao Bao?" "Bao Bao is Bao Bao, who else can it be?" Seven's brain was numbed by the alcohol. She seemed to be speaking instinctively. Now, there was only mineral water in her eyes. She wanted to drink mineral water. However, Qin Imo did not give it to her. "Why do you call her Bao Bao? Are you close to her?" "Of course. Her name is Tang Bao. What's wrong with calling her Bao Bao?" Tang Bao? Qin Mo's mind turned. Why did this name sound so familiar? Wasn't that the name of the king of D City's ex-wife? Back then, the king of D City drained all the water in the harbor to find a woman. Later, he found out that it was not a random woman but his wife. Tang Go had T as his backing. Was it really because of his face? Let me ask you again, is Tang Go a woman? Nonsense, if not a woman, then a man. Seven was persistent in snatching the water. This time, Qin Imo opened the bottle cap for her and let her drink. So Tang Go was Tang Bao. She was not dead. No wonder T was able to support a startup studio. After Seven drank the water, Qin Imo took the water away and hugged Seven. "Do you know who I am?" Red Seventh Drunk looked at him with hazy eyes. "You beast, very good." Qin Imo brought Seven to the room directly. It was not his room, but Seven's room. He looked like a gentleman. After all, he did not bring her to his room. Then, he brought Red Seven into the bathroom. "Where is this?" Seven asked drunkenly. "Your bathroom. I'm going to fill the water for you to take a bath." Seven replied and started to take off her clothes. She took it off naturally. Qin Imo, who was standing not far away, stared at Seven's body. Even though they had been intimate the previous 2 times, they had done it in the dark. It was not as exciting as this. His eyes were abnormally bright and deep, and his chest was tight. Then, he watched as Seven's body fell into his eyes. His breathing became heavy. He walked towards Seven. "Don't take off your clothes in front of me. I won't be able to take it." But his gaze and reaction were the complete opposite of what he said. He wanted Seven to expose her completely in front of him, and let him admire her. Awesome novel. Songshu 566. Chapter 11:11. Red 7 looked at him, and patted his shoulder with a smile. We're brothers. What's there to be uncomfortable about? What I have, you have too. Don't be shy. Don't touch me, Chin-mo suddenly said. Even though Red 7 was drunk, she was still confused. When did she touch him? She looked at her hand and asked in confusion. I didn't. Before she could finish, her mouth was blocked by Chin-mo. He kissed her deeply without holding back. Red 7 couldn't resist. Moreover, she was drunk, so she didn't have any practical resistance to such things. What Chin-mo wanted to do wasn't just a deep kiss. There was more. Soon, the two of them hugged each other. Red 7 felt that she was almost out of breath. She felt as though she was wrapped tightly in a ball of fire. In the bathroom, the two of them panted, and all kinds of sounds made the temperature of the room rise. Do you know that when I was studying, I didn't think about my future the most every day? I thought about you the most. After you kissed me forcefully and after I saw your body, I would think about it every day. It was as though I was really living such a life with you. It was very exciting and I yearned for it. Don't be gentle. Red 7 lay on the floor and cried out impatiently. Tell me, do you want me to stop now? Chin-mo kissed her and seduced her. Red 7's brain was muddled. She only wanted to follow the strong senses of her body. She cried out softly, No! Then I can only force myself to do it. Chin-mo smiled. The next morning, Red 7 felt as though her body had been beaten up the whole night. Her entire body was uncomfortable, especially her waist and knees. Red 7 lifted the blanket and saw red marks on both her knees. It was as though she had been kneeling for a long time. What was wrong with her? No, it should be. This feeling was too familiar. Especially a certain place. Red 7's face was flushed red. She didn't want to check that place. She didn't need to look to know what was going on. The room was her room, but she still wanted to settle the score with that beast Chin-mo. He was taking advantage of her. When she got off the bed, Red 7 wondered why her throat hurt. Why did her mouth feel swollen? What exactly did she experience last night? Red 7 was still wearing her pajamas, but she did not think that she was just having an indescribable dream. Opening the door, Red 7 went downstairs and found Chin-mo in the kitchen. Chin-mo, you bastard, how dare you violate me while I'm drunk? Chin-mo turned around. He was wearing a pair of black-rimmed spectacles on his handsome face. The spectacles deepened the feeling of his entire face. He was elegant and refined, handsome and steady, just like a charismatic celebrity professor. He was full of substance. When Red 7 saw his face, she stared at him in a daze. There seemed to be a strange throbbing in the left side of his chest, as if it was attracted by something. Red 7's vigilance tightened, and she came back to her senses. What was she thinking? She actually found Chin-mo attractive? Attractive, my ass. He was merely the epitome of a beast in human clothing. She must have been drunk and still had some lingering effects. That was why her mind was in such a mess. Today's breakfast is a little late. Wait a little longer, it'll be ready soon, Chin-mo said without a change in his expression, as though he didn't notice her dazed expression. Red 7 was furious. Who asked you about breakfast? I'm asking you, what did you do to me last night? Me? If it wasn't you, then it was me. I finally understand. You purposely brought me to the bar and got me drunk so that you could show your beastly side. Red 7 complained angrily. I think you might have misunderstood something. I misunderstood? Then my waist is hurting now, the red marks on my knees, and that feeling. Do you think I wouldn't know because you helped me put on my pajamas properly? Something did happen between us, but you can't blame it on me. What do you mean? Chin-mo wiped his hands calmly and walked in front of Red 7. Follow me, I have evidence. Red 7 was stunned. Evidence? There was other evidence? Wasn't her personal experience enough? Why aren't you coming? Feeling guilty? He turned and saw that Red 7 didn't move and asked. Red 7 was angry when she heard this. What did he mean by feeling guilty? She wanted to see who was the one feeling guilty. Chin Mo entered her room and went straight to the bathroom. Red 7, who was following behind, was puzzled. She followed him and looked at the familiar bathroom. What exactly do you want me to see? Chin Mo pressed the button on the wall. It was the button for the microphone. The conversation between Chin Mo and Red 7 could be heard. Where is this? Your bathroom. I'm going to fill the water for you to take a bath. Then there was the rustling sound of clothes being taken off. Don't take off your clothes in front of me, I can't stand it. We're brothers, what's there to be unable to stand? What I have, you have too, don't be shy. Don't touch me. Then, Red 7 heard the sound of their entanglement. It made her feel as though she was struck by lightning. Her face was red. Wasn't it enough that she took the initiative to seduce Chin Mo? She had to touch him? Red 7 looked at Chin Mo. Chin Mo looked as though he was the victim. At this moment, all kinds of voices came from the microphone. Red 7 couldn't listen to it anymore, especially when she responded to every word Chin Mo said. She didn't even want Chin Mo to stop. Red 7 turned to leave. But Chin Mo grabbed her. Where are you going? I'm going out, let go. No, you have to listen to it. Otherwise, I'll be wronged. I'm wronged. Red 7 felt that she couldn't explain it clearly now. After all, she was the one who took the initiative to do it. But should it have happened just because she took the initiative? You could have pushed me away, but you didn't. How can you blame me? I'm a man, how can I control myself when I encounter such things? Besides, you seem to want it very much. Besides, we're husband and wife, it's nothing. She wanted it very much? F***ck, was he trying to make her go crazy? There was a new sound coming from the microphone again. Red 7 was puzzled. What am I eating? What did you feed me? What do you think? Chin Mo pushed his glasses and asked. The eyes behind the lenses reflected a glint that seemed to devour people. It was so evil. Red 7 tried hard to interpret his words and the unbearable roar coming from Chin Mo's throat. If she still didn't know, she would have lived in vain. Red 7 went forward and turned off the button of the microphone. However, she pressed it wrong. The more she pressed it, the louder the sound became. Her and Chin Mo's passionate voices reverberated in the bathroom, making her dumbfounded as though she was electrocuted. The more she panicked, the more she pressed it. The more she pressed it, the louder the sound became. She was so anxious that she glared at Chin Mo with a red face. Turn it off. Which is the switch? Hongcha 866. Chapter 11-12. Red 7 looked at him and patted his shoulder with a smile. We're brothers. What's there to be unable to bear? What I have, you have too. Don't be shy. Don't touch me, Chin Mo suddenly said. Even though Red 7 was drunk, she was still confused. When did she touch him? She looked at her hand and asked in confusion. I didn't. Before she could finish, her mouth was blocked by Chin Mo. He kissed her deeply without holding back. Red 7 couldn't resist. Moreover, she was drunk. She didn't have any practical resistance to such things. What Chin Mo wanted to do wasn't just a deep kiss. There was more. Soon, the two of them hugged each other. Red 7 felt that she was almost out of breath. She felt as though she was wrapped tightly in a ball of fire. In the bathroom, the two of them panted, and all kinds of sounds made the temperature of the room rise sharply. Do you know that when I was studying, I didn't think about my future the most every day. I thought about you the most. After you kissed me forcefully and after I saw your body, I would think about it every day. It was as though I was really living such a life with you. It was very exciting and I yearned for it. Don't be gentle. Red 7 lay on the floor and cried out impatiently. Tell me, do you want me to stop now? Chin Mo kissed her and seduced her. Red 7's brain was muddled. She only wanted to follow the strong senses of her body. She cried out softly, No! Then I can only force myself to do it. Chin-mo smiled. The next morning, Red 7 felt as though her body had been beaten up the whole night. Her entire body was extremely uncomfortable, especially her waist and knees. Red 7 lifted the blanket and saw red marks on both her knees. It was as though she had been kneeling for a long time. What was wrong with her? No, it should be. This feeling was too familiar. Especially a certain place. Red 7's face was flushed red. She didn't want to check that place. She didn't need to look to know what was going on. The room was her room, but she still wanted to settle the score with Chin-mo, that beast. He was taking advantage of her. When she got off the bed, Red 7 wondered why her throat hurt. Why did her mouth feel swollen too? What exactly did she experience last night? Red 7 was still wearing her pajamas, but she did not think that she was just having an indescribable dream. Opening the door, Red 7 went downstairs and found Chin-mo in the kitchen. Chin-mo, you bastard, how dare you violate me while I'm drunk? Chin-mo turned around. He was wearing a pair of black-rimmed spectacles on his handsome face. The spectacles deepened the feeling of his entire face. He was elegant and refined, handsome and steady, just like a charismatic celebrity professor. He was full of substance. When Red 7 saw his face, she stared at him in a daze. There seemed to be a strange throbbing in the left side of his chest, as if it was attracted by something. Red 7's vigilance tightened, and she came back to her senses. What was she thinking? She actually found Chin-mo attractive? Attractive, my ass. He was merely the epitome of a beast in human clothing. She must have been drunk and still had some lingering effects. That was why her mind was in such a mess. Today's breakfast is a little late. Wait a little longer, it'll be ready soon, Chin-mo said without a change in his expression, as though he didn't notice her dazed expression. Red 7 was furious. Who asked you about breakfast? I'm asking you, what did you do to me last night? Me? If it wasn't you, then it was me. I finally understand. You purposely brought me to the bar and got me drunk so that you could show your beastly side. Red 7 complained angrily. I think you might have misunderstood something. I misunderstood? My waist hurts now, the red marks on my knees, and that feeling. Do you think I wouldn't know because you helped me put on my pajamas properly? Something did happen between us, but you can't blame it on me. What do you mean? Chin-mo wiped his hands calmly and walked in front of Red 7. Follow me, I have evidence. Red 7 was stunned. Evidence? There was other evidence? Wasn't it enough for her to experience it personally? Why aren't you coming? Feeling guilty? He turned and saw that Red 7 wasn't moving and asked. Red 7 was angry when she heard this. What did he mean by feeling guilty? She wanted to see who was the one feeling guilty. Chin-mo entered her room and went straight to the bathroom. Red 7, who was following behind, didn't understand and followed him. She looked at the familiar bathroom and asked, What exactly do you want me to see? Chin-mo pressed the button on the wall. It was the button for the microphone. The conversation between Chin-mo and Red 7 could be heard instantly. Where is this? Your bathroom. I'm going to fill the water for you to take a bath. Then there was the rustling sound of clothes being taken off. Don't take off your clothes in front of me, I can't stand it. We're brothers, what's there to be unable to stand? What I have, you have too, don't be shy. Don't touch me. Then Red 7 heard the sound of their entanglement. It made her feel as though she was struck by lightning. Her face was red. Wasn't it enough that she took the initiative to seduce Chin-mo? She had to touch him? Red 7 looked at Chin-mo. Chin-mo looked as though he was the victim. At this moment, all kinds of voices came from the microphone. Red 7 couldn't listen to it anymore, especially when she responded to every word Chin-mo said. She didn't even want Chin-mo to stop. Red 7 turned to leave. But Chin-mo pulled her back. Where are you going? I'm going out, let go. No, you have to listen to it. Otherwise I'll be wronged. I'm wronged. Red 7 felt that she really couldn't explain it now. After all, she was the one who took the initiative to do it. But should it have happened just because she took the initiative? You could have pushed me away, but you didn't. How can you blame me? I'm a man, how can I control myself when I encounter such things? Besides, you seem to want it very much. Besides, we're husband and wife, it's nothing. She wanted it very much? F***ck, was he trying to make her go crazy? There was a new sound coming from the microphone again. Red 7 was puzzled. What am I eating? What did you feed me? What do you think? Chin Mo pushed his glasses and asked. The eyes behind the lenses reflected a glint that seemed to devour people. It was so evil. Red 7 tried hard to interpret his words and the unbearable roar coming from Chin Mo's throat. If she still didn't know, she would have lived in vain. Red 7 went forward and turned off the button of the microphone. However, she pressed it wrong. The more she pressed it, the louder the sound became. Her and Chin Mo's passionate voices reverberated in the bathroom, making her dumbfounded as though she had been electrocuted. The more she panicked, the more she pressed it. The more she pressed it, the louder the sound became. She was so anxious that she glared at Chin Mo with a red face. Turn it off. Which is the switch? Hongcha 866. Chapter 11:13. It's not like I haven't tasted your saliva before. Indeed, she had tasted his saliva before. But how could it be the same? She didn't want to talk about this with Di Haotian anymore. Where's my briefcase? She asked. Did you have fun last night? Tang Bao looked at Di Haotian. His face was still gloomy. His hands were moving gently, but his expression was cold. What's there to be happy about? It's just a social event. You're the one who was happier when I wasn't in the castle, right? Tang Bao asked. Maybe Di Haotian was the one who contacted Mia when she wasn't around. He Ju would become her when she was around. She couldn't be blamed for having a good imagination. Di Haotian raised his black eyes and looked at her sharply. Tang Bao looked away. Since you're angry, you definitely don't want to see me. I didn't say anything wrong. You came to have lunch with me yesterday. Didn't you say that everything was fine? Where did you go? You went to have lunch with Wan Malay. Is she more important, or am I more important? Di Haotian asked in a cold, possessive voice. Tang Bao was depressed. If I didn't go to see Wan Malay, I wouldn't have known that he Ju had such a trick up his sleeve. But she wouldn't say that. She didn't want to alert the enemy when she didn't have any evidence. Di Haotian was a poisonous snake. Tang Bao didn't want to say anything. There was nothing to say to Di Haotian. He was angry? She was even angrier. Say something. Di Haotian saw that she was silent, and his expression turned ugly. Say what? You mean that she's more important than me, so there's no need to say anything more. Tang Bao glared at him. It's a pity that you don't write novels. Why do you think that way? One is a woman, the other is a man. How can you compare them? But to Di Haotian there was. Also, you're blaming me. That day I was almost dead because of you. My face was almost ruined by you. Look, there are still marks on my face. I'm already like that, and you're still angry. How would I know what's going on with you? You're blaming me instead? Do you believe that I won't eat? Tang Bao asked. Don't think that you're the only one who knows how to threaten. Tang Bao thought proudly, you've been threatened by me. However, before she could finish feeling smug, she heard Di Haotian say, I think you're still in good spirits. These words made Tang Bao's hair stand on end and his scalp go numb. What was Di Haotian trying to do? There was only one way to make her mentally unstable. Tang Bao immediately said, I'm not feeling well. I'll take a nap after lunch. Di Haotian glanced at her coldly. He did not say anything and continued to feed her. The Tang Bao just ate it obediently and did not refute. Why did it seem like everything was her fault? When she found the evidence, Di Haotian would not be able to refute it. At night, Wan Malay was sitting on the sofa watching TV. Hee-ju was beside her. Wan Malay pushed him and said, "Go and take a shower." Hee-ju glanced at her and stretched out his hand. Wan Malay's face instantly heated up. She clamped her legs together and said, "Don't. Go and take a shower first." "Okay." The words were silenced, and Vangelis was kissed. When they pulled away, Wan Malay's cheeks were red. "You've been asking for it every day for the past few days. Isn't that enough? We'll stay here from now on." You want it every day?" Wan Malay was stunned. Hee-ju did not say anything. Wan Malay suddenly realized that she had acted like a hooligan. It's a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding. You're not angry anymore, right?" Hee-ju asked. Wan Malay knew what he was referring to and said, "I believe you. As long as you say no, I won't suspect anything. Go and take a shower. After you're done, let's go to bed?" Hee-ju's gaze changed and then he went to take a shower. Wan Malay heaved a sigh of relief. It was not easy to peek at his phone. Seeing Hee-ju enter the bathroom, Wan Malay went to look for Hee-ju's phone and found it on the bedside table in the room. He immediately opened the phone and checked the messages. "What are you looking at?" Wan Mirai was so shocked that she almost dropped her phone. She looked at Hee-ju, who had come out of the bathroom at some point. She put her phone back, stood up, and asked with a stiff smile, "Don't tell me you're done showering? But you haven't taken off your clothes." "I'll get my pajamas." "Oh, I'll get them for you." Wan Malay turned around to get his pajamas and handed it to Hee-ju. Seeing that Hee-ju had gone to the bathroom without asking anything, Wan Malay was so scared that she patted her chest. She had said that she believed him just now, but now she was checking someone else's phone. Wasn't she lying? Although she was more concerned about finding out who the Mia thought Hee-ju was, her sneaky behavior was still very suspicious. Wan Malay turned around and wanted to continue looking. However, Hee-ju's phone on the bedside table was gone. F***ck. Hee-ju had taken it away. He had seen what she was doing, but he did not say anything. What did Hee-ju mean by this? Was he feeling guilty? Why did he take the phone away? Was there anything that she could not see? Wan Malay was depressed. She had lost such a good opportunity. If Hee-ju was vigilant, she would not be able to touch Hee-ju's phone next time. Then, wouldn't she not know what Mia had sent in her phone? No, she had to see it. After they had showered, Hee-ju kissed Wan Malay. "Wait, I'm a little sleepy. I want to sleep." "It's true. It's too sudden. I can't help it." Hee-ju did not say anything and hugged her. "Let's sleep. Don't hug me too tightly. I want to sleep separately." Wan Malay moved back a little. Afraid that Hee-ju would be suspicious, she said, "Maybe it's because it's too hot. Besides, I haven't been sleeping well recently. Don't hug me to sleep. Let me hug you to sleep." With that, she put her hand on Hee-ju's waist. He closed his eyes. Hee-ju let her be. Wan Malay's real intention was to wait for Hee-ju to fall asleep so that she could get up and steal his phone. But if Hee-ju hugged her when she got up, wouldn't he wake up? Just in case, it was best to sleep separately. Wan Malay tried hard not to fall asleep, but she still fell asleep. When she opened her eyes, the sky was already bright. She was so shocked that she jumped out of bed. Hee-ju was not in the room. She quickly got out of bed and tiptoed to open the door a little. She pricked up her ears to listen for any movement outside. She heard nothing. It was a little far away, which meant that Hee-ju had either gone out or was making breakfast in the kitchen. Because he was the one who made breakfast. Wan Malay closed the door again and started to look for Hee-ju's phone. Then, she realized that Hee-ju's phone was not in the room. He couldn't have left it with him early in the morning, right? Wan Malay opened the door again and sneaked out of the room. When she found her way to the living room, she realized that the phone was on the coffee table. Hee-ju's men were preparing breakfast in the kitchen. Follow. Hongcha 866. Chapter 11-14. Wan Malay quickly took the opportunity to grab Heju's phone and open the message. When she saw the content, she cursed silently in her heart. How could he delete all the messages in it? Heju, how dare you not let me see it? You have a guilty conscience. What did you talk about? No, she had to get information from Heju. She put down the phone and walked angrily to the kitchen. I'm embarrassed that you're always making breakfast. My mom said that this kind of thing should be done by women, Wan Malay said obediently. Don't talk like that, Heju said. Wan Malay thought, you don't like it when I'm gentle? Let me ask you, have you contacted that woman again? No. No? Really? Or did you delete the messages? Did you look at my phone? Heju asked. No. Wan Malay looked at the breakfast Heju made and said, since you don't like my gentleness, you'll make all the breakfast from now on. Wan Malay rolled her eyes and turned to wash up. Seriously, he didn't like to hear nice things and just wanted her to be mean? What kind of attitude was that? Wan Malay thought of something and suddenly turned to look at Heju. She even walked closer to him and said, Heju, don't tell me you're a masochist? I like to torture each other. Goodbye. Wan Malay turned and ran away. Heju watched her run away in a hurry and the corners of his mouth twitched slightly. Wan Malay washed her face gloomily. What should she do? If the messages were deleted, how was she going to investigate? Heju was too smart. When the family of 5 was eating breakfast, Di Haotian said in a low voice, Come with me to send the children later. Tang Bao looked at Di Haotian. He did not look at her, but it was obvious that he was talking to her. She was unwilling at first, but when she saw the children looking at her, she immediately smiled. Okay. It seemed like she hadn't sent them to school for a few days, so she couldn't help but feel a little embarrassed. Actually, we don't need to drive anymore. It's the same if the driver drives us, Erbao said. Daddy, Mommy, I can go to school by myself. Xiao Bao said. Di Bowling said, Anyway, I used to go to school by myself, so I didn't need a ride. Just as Tang Bao was about to say something, Di Haotian said, That's for the best. Today is the last time I'll send you off. In the future, take the bus back to school on your own. All right, the children said with one voice. Tang Bao looked at Di Haotian's expression and then at the children. He did not say anything. At this moment, Zhang Li walked over with Tang Bao's cell phone in his hand. Young madam, your cell phone has been ringing. Tang Bao was stunned for a moment and asked, Where did you find it? In the bathroom. Tang Bao was speechless. Di Haotian actually hid her briefcase in the bathroom? Why didn't she think of that? But how did she know that Di Haotian would hide it in there? She thought that it was in the bedroom or living room. Looking at the missed call, Tang Bao saw that it was Wan Malay. He immediately got up and went to the dining room to pick her up. What's the matter so early in the morning? Let me tell you, I saw the text messages on Heju's cell phone. Really? Is there any progress? You have to believe it. What progress? Heju deleted all the text messages on his cell phone. He's actually starting to guard against me. Wan Malay said excitedly. You're talking about this progress? Are you asking for a beating? Her heart skipped a beat. Let's meet and then we'll discuss it at length. Anyway, you're in a conflict with young Master D now. If he doesn't care about you, maybe he'll take action if you give him some space. What do you think? Tang Bao originally wanted to say that she had something to do at the studio, but thinking about how long it would take to have a meal, he agreed. Okay. After the phone call, he returned to the dining room and continued to eat. Then, she felt Di Haotian's cold aura pressing down on her again. Tang Bao was baffled. He couldn't even answer a single call? If she said that she went out for lunch with Wan Malay, wouldn't it be even scarier? Tang Bao didn't want to say it now. He didn't want to scare the children. On the way to send the children to school, it was all silent. Tang Bao talked to the children, but Di Haotian didn't say a word. Tang Bao could feel Di Haotian's sharp black eyes looking at her as if he wanted to see through her body. Tang Bao acted as if she didn't feel anything and just didn't look at him. After sending the children to school, on the way to tea, Tang Bao sat by the car window and looked at the street outside. Who called? Di Haotian asked coldly. Tang Bao was still thinking, if you don't ask me, I'll find it strange. Can't you give me a little surprise? She said, it's nothing. Malay called. He's looking for me. I'm going out to eat. However, Di Haotian immediately surprised her. Because although his expression was cold, he actually didn't stop her. If this wasn't an accident, then what was? If it was any other time, Di Haotian's aura would be quite dangerous and scary. Compared to now, this moment was benevolent. At around 10 o'clock, Tang Bao went to see Wan Malay. In the private room again, Tang Bao sat down and said, I feel like the two of us are like the head of the Secret Service doing underground work. We're sneaking around. If we're not sneaking around, won't we be discovered? What do you think we should do? What do you mean by long-term planning? Tang Bao didn't understand. What I want to say is that I probably won't be able to get anything from He-ju. I didn't expect him to delete the text message. He-ju has been by Di Haotian's side for so many years, and he used to be trained in the army. Even you can't deal with him? Then you can only investigate from the young master. Investigate like this? His phone is cleaner than mine. You looked at it? Wan Malay was more surprised. I sometimes use his phone to browse Weibo. Wan Malay didn't understand. Why do you use his phone to browse Weibo? That's because I'm afraid that my phone will run out of battery. If you run out of battery, don't you know how to charge it? That's troublesome. F***ck, you're too lazy. The young master really dotes on you too much. If such a man would find a woman, then are there any reliable men in this world? Wan Malay asked. Tang Bao didn't say anything. She felt that way too. If she and Di Haotian went through so much trouble, and he found a woman to betray her in the end, wouldn't she vomit 3 pounds of blood first? But I keep feeling that something is strange. Tang Bao pondered. What's strange? This morning, I told Di Haotian that I was going to have lunch with you at noon, but he didn't say anything. This isn't like him. Then what was he like in the past? Wan Malay asked. He was especially scary. You don't know Di Haotian's aura, it can make people's legs go weak. But he didn't today. I was wondering why he didn't. Songshu 566. Chapter 11:15. Could it be that he's indulging you now? Does he feel that he shouldn't control you too much? Wan Malay asked. How would I know? It's all just my guess. Sai, what should we do? Are we just going to let this woman threaten us? Tang Bao thought. I think if there's really something, based on Mia's personality, she'll definitely run to me to show off her relationship with Di Haotian. Or show off in front of me, Wan Malay said. She has a grudge against me, so the possibility of He-ju is 0. Wan Malay was about to say something when Tang Bao's phone rang. Tang Bao took out his phone and frowned when he saw the caller ID. Who is it? Wan Malay craned his neck to take a look. No name, a stranger? Tang Bao picked up. Hello, who is this? Long time no see, President Tang. A woman's voice came through. Mia. Tang Bao immediately recognized it and looked at the surprised Wan Malay. I'm so happy that you actually guessed it. This means that I still have a lot of weight in President Tang's heart. Tang Bao smiled faintly. I can't help it. If I can't even recognize your voice and your face has undergone plastic surgery, how can I recognize you? You, President Tang, you're really sharp-tongued, but I want to know how long you can be so smug. I've asked you before, do you feel that the young master's attitude towards you has changed? Haven't you noticed the content of the young master's text messages every night? Tang Bao immediately thought of the text messages that Wan Malay saw on He-ju's phone and understood everything. What are you trying to say? What are you doing now? I have an appointment with the young master today. He should be on his way here. Tang Bao's heart skipped a beat, but he still said calmly, "Just because you say so? I'm having dinner with Di Haotian." "I don't believe you. If you have the ability, get him to answer the phone." "Do you think I'll answer just because you said so? You dare to pick up a call from the king of Imperial City?" "Why wouldn't I dare to accept it? He even said that he likes me in the message." "Tang Ge, you're a man. How can you fight with a woman? I think if you really want to fight with me, you can go and change your gender first." Mia mocked. "I find it hard to believe, and I don't want to accept, that you and Xiao Bao actually have the same parent." Tang Bao's face was cold. "You don't have to worry about that. Maybe Xiao Bao will grow up to be smarter than me. I don't think it's smart at all. Besides, Xiao Bao will never be like you. A country bumpkin will always be a country bumpkin. You haven't seen the world yet. You feel so superior just because you have some achievements. I really feel sorry for you." "You." Mia was furious. She hated it when people called her a country bumpkin. In order to change herself, she was trying her best to get rid of the past, but Tang Ge kept touching her sore spot. "Yes, I used to be a country bumpkin, but you have to know that success doesn't care about history. Do you understand? As long as I'm with the young master, I can trample anyone under my feet." Why did Tang Bao sound like he was listening to a crazy woman talking? "Are you okay? Maybe you think I'm talking nonsense. If you don't believe me, come to the high-class clubhouse and see if the person I'm meeting is the young master." After saying that, she even gave him the address and hung up the phone. Tang Bao's hand that was holding the phone lowered, and his face was a little cold. "What's wrong? What did Mia say? Why did she call you out of the blue? Didn't I say it? If Mia really has something going on with Di Haotian, she will definitely show off in front of me. She said that she has already made an appointment with Di Haotian. She even gave me the address and told me to go there." "Do you think Di Haotian is really there? Will he really meet with Mia?" Tang Bao asked gloomily. His heart was uncomfortable and swollen. "I'm not sure about this either. If it's not true, would Mia be so sure? How about this, we'll go there directly. If it's true, then we'll directly cripple that little b** tch Mia." Tang Bao felt that if it was true, so what if she killed Mia? She wanted to know how Di Haotian would react. It must be very interesting. Mia was sitting in the private room of the high-class clubhouse, waiting nervously. She was dressed very innocently, but she did not lose her sexiness, especially her chest, which was revealing her flesh. She looked at herself in the mirror again and again, afraid that she would expose herself. It was not easy for her to make an appointment with Di Haotian, so one could imagine how excited she was. Not long after, the door of the private room was pushed open and the person who came in was He Ju. The person who came in next was Di Haotian. His tall figure made the large private room seem small and oppressive. "Young master." Mia stood up and called out tenderly. Di Haotian was expressionless. He sat down in his seat and lit a cigarette, completely ignoring the fact that there was a lady beside him. He never smoked when he was around Tang Bao. He Ju closed the door and stood guard outside. Only Di Haotian and Mia were left in the private room. Mia did not care if Di Haotian was smoking in front of her at this moment. She felt that even smoking was especially sexy, and she liked the smell of tobacco even more. It was full of masculinity. "Young master, you can say it now." Di Haotian narrowed his dark eyes, and his face could not be seen clearly because of the smoke. Mia knew what Di Haotian wanted to know, but she did not want to say it so quickly. "Young master, are you hungry? Why don't we order first? How about we talk while we eat?" Di Haotian looked at Mia. His gaze was as sharp as a knife that seemed to be able to pierce through her body. Mia instinctively tensed up and lowered her head shyly. "Young master, why are you looking at me like that?" "Oh, I'll be embarrassed." "You'll be embarrassed?" Di Haotian asked. "Of course I'll be embarrassed. No matter how much we chat in text messages, I'll still be embarrassed when the content is put in front of me, Mia said as she deliberately bit her lower lip with her teeth. Such a typical small detail carried a hint of seduction. However, Di Haotian looked at her without any change in expression. However, in Mia's opinion, if Di Haotian was looking at her like that, it meant that he was attracted by her face. "Young master, I didn't cause you any trouble when I texted you tonight, did I?" "No." "That's good. I was worried that President Tang would see it," Mia said cautiously, but when she did not see Di Haotian's displeasure when she mentioned Tang Go, she became bolder. "I think President Tang is quite a good person, and he takes care of me in all sorts of ways. I think it must be because of my little sister that President Tang treats me so well. If President Tang is busy, I can take care of young master." The last sentence was very straightforward. However, Di Haotian did not respond to her. Awesome novel, Xinwu 799. Chapter 11-16. Mia quickly tried to smooth things over. "Then I'll order first. What does young master like to eat?" "Anything." Mia called the waiter over and began to order. She ordered the dishes that she thought Di Haotian liked to eat. Di Haotian listened to the names of the dishes. They were indeed the dishes that he usually ate. How would Mia know? Di Haotian's aura was cold and he didn't say a word. After Mia ordered the dishes, Di Haotian didn't object. That meant that she ordered the right dishes. Fortunately, she had done her homework and asked Lan Wanru early. Lan Wanru and Di Haotian had known each other for so many years. It was impossible that he didn't know what Di Haotian liked to eat. When the dishes were served, Di Haotian didn't have any intention of eating. Mia asked, "Young master, why aren't you eating? Is the food not to your liking?" "Yes," Di Haotian said. Mia thought to herself, it can't be, right? Could it be that Lan Wanru wasn't telling the truth to her? "Focus on the main point," Di Haotian said. Mia didn't dare to object, and could only order another set. This time, Di Haotian didn't say anything. Tang Bao and Wan Malay appeared in the high-class clubhouse and walked towards the private room. From afar, they saw 2 rows of bodyguards standing outside the door. There were also some familiar faces, such as He Ju and Zhang Chao. Without asking, they knew who was in the private room. However, it was hard to say whether it was Di Haotian or 2 people inside. He Ju didn't expect to see Tang Bao and Wan Malay. He didn't remember what message on his phone would be seen by Wan Malay. "Yo, what a coincidence. He Ju actually saw you here." "Malay, cover his mouth." Tang Bao didn't give He Ju a chance to speak. Wan Malay obeyed and stepped forward to cover his mouth. He Ju was speechless. The other bodyguards looked on, not daring to move. One was He Ju's girlfriend, and the other was the young master's wife. Who would dare to touch them? Tang Bao walked to the door of the private room. To be honest, although she was mentally prepared, she was still afraid of what would happen when she pushed open the door. Tang Bao walked out of the clubhouse and opened the car door to get into the car. Just as she was about to close the door, Di Haotian squeezed in. "Get out of the car!" Tang Bao was furious. "No." Di Haotian hugged her. "I was wrong. I shouldn't have met that woman in private." Tang Bao looked at him and laughed. "Are you kidding me? Would I stop you from meeting other women? I just don't want you to hide it from me. Actually, if you had told me the truth, I might have helped you. You wouldn't have had to go through so much trouble to find He Ju. Don't you think so?" "Bao, I swear to God, I definitely didn't mean that." Di Haotian raised his hand as if he was surrendering. "Get out of the car." Tang Bao kicked him. "Drive." Di Haotian ordered the driver. The driver hurriedly drove carefully, afraid that he would be implicated. "Who told you to drive?" Tang Bao shouted at the driver in front. The driver was speechless. "You two are quarreling. It's very difficult for me, okay?" Although he thought so, he still drove the car. Tang Bao was so angry that she was burning with anger, but there was nothing she could do. "Be good, don't be angry." Explain yourself, Tang Bao questioned. Okay, I'll tell you. I met that woman because I wanted to know her face. I don't want to hear your explanation. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Di Haotian was speechless. Tang Bao was so angry that she leaned against the car window and looked out. She did not look at Di Haotian, as if she would vomit blood if she looked at him. This man actually met with Mia, sent her ambiguous text messages, and even asked Ju to cover for her? He was really something. Bao, I was wronged. I only did that to investigate the mastermind behind Mia. Tang Bao did not want to hear his explanation, but Di Haotian had to say it. He did not want to die of heartache if he angered his baby. Mastermind. Tang Bao turned and looked at him coldly. Have you found out? Not yet. Continue to coax me. I don't want to hear a word. Bao, I'm telling the truth. I swear to God. I won't believe you no matter what you swear. Don't talk to me. Bao, I'm wrong. Forgive your husband, okay? Go away. Tang Bao, who was being hugged, was really angry. However, she was not as strong as Di Haotian. In his hands, she was as weak as a chicken. When the car arrived at the studio, Tang Bao got out of the car and ignored Di Haotian. He went straight to the studio. "CEO Tang, you're back?" Xiao Ding had just gone to greet him when she saw that Tang Ji's expression was very bad. Then, she saw Di Haotian behind her and was so scared that her body immediately stiffened. Then, they went up to the second floor one after another. Xiao Ding looked at the atmosphere. Why was something wrong? It seemed like CEO Tang was very angry? Who provoked him? Could it be the young Master T? Tang Bao entered the office and was about to close the door. He blocked the door and said, "Go back to your tea." "No." "Why not? This is your territory." "I think it's mine." Tang Bao had forgotten about this and let go of her hand. "Then you stay here. I'll leave." "Okay." He turned around and left, but Di Haotian grabbed him and carried him into the office. "Di Haotian, let go of me! Let go of me!" Tang Bao's angry voice was shut behind the office door. Several staff members downstairs were very surprised. They had clearly seen the scene just now. CEO Tang is too awesome, right? He actually dared to shout at the head of T? More than awesome? He was too awesome. I worship CEO Tang from the bottom of my heart. Why do I feel like the two of them are quarreling like a young couple? But doesn't CEO Tang have a family background? Could it be that CEO Tang is two-timing? Bisexual? Xiao Ding hit the head of the person who was gossiping with a document. "Sister Ding, why did you hit me? I didn't say anything wrong. CEO Tang has something to discuss with the young master. Is it as mysterious as you say?" "Sister Ding, can't you see that it's a young couple quarreling?" That's right. When I'm jealous of my boyfriend, it's like this." Xiao Ding found it hard to refute. After all, there were so many pairs of eyes watching. However, she couldn't agree with them. "Don't talk nonsense. I know CEO Tang very well. He's not that kind of person. There must be some misunderstanding. Okay, don't think too much. Get to work." Tang Bao stood by the window and stared coldly at Di Haotian. "You'd better go back to your tea now. Maybe I'll calm down. If you stay here, I'll definitely get angrier and angrier. I can go over. If it's not enough, you have to eat with me first." "Eat? Young master, are you not full? If you go back to eat if you're not full, I think Mia will be very happy." Di Haotian looked at her angry face, walked forward, and pressed her against the glass window. Songshu 566. Chapter 11-17. "Bao, you look so charming when you're jealous." "I don't think so. Are you going to let go of me or not?" Tang Bao was angry. "You're not allowed to go hungry." "What if I don't eat?" "I'll take you back to my office now." Tang Bao's expression changed. "I'm not going." "Then I'll get someone to bring the food over. I'll watch you finish eating before I leave." Tang Bao gritted her teeth. She was completely set up. She didn't want to do this at all, but could she resist? Di Haotian would definitely bring her back to tea. She didn't want to. There was nothing this devil couldn't do. I'll eat. Di Haotian kissed her little mouth. Good girl. Tang Bao couldn't dodge and was kissed by him. She was so angry that she almost stopped breathing. Fortunately, Di Haotian let go of her in time and her anger subsided a little. Di Haotian made a call and soon, the food was brought over. It was placed neatly in front of Tang Bao. Tang Bao sat there and started eating under Di Haotian's supervision. It was really supervision because Di Haotian didn't eat and just sat there watching her eat. If it was in the past, Tang Bao would definitely let him eat with her. But now, one meal wouldn't starve him to death. Besides, she didn't ask him to sit there and not eat. He could go back to his tea to eat. She definitely wouldn't stop him. After Tang Bao was almost done eating, she asked, "Can you go back to tea now? We'll leave together tonight. You're not allowed to leave first." With a dangerous gaze, he left after saying that. Tang Bao really didn't want to go back with Di Haotian. It was as if he had seen through her and it made her very unhappy. But she couldn't ignore Di Haotian's threat. Her phone rang. It was a text message. Tang Bao glanced at it. It was Wan Malay. "Did young Master Di explain it to you? What was going on?" Tang Bao called, and Wan Malay answered. "Why are you sending a text message? Can't you just call her directly?" "That's because I don't dare." "What if you're communicating with the young master in that aspect? Who wants to communicate with him? I'm so pissed off. She really did have an affair with Mia." Tang Bao felt that the lunch she had eaten was so bloated that her stomach felt uncomfortable. Don't be angry, don't be angry. I knew you would be very angry, so I came to comfort you." "You don't have to comfort me. It's useless." "Didn't the young master explain it to you?" "What's the point of explaining? Didn't he meet Mia in private? If it weren't for the Mia playing tricks behind my back, I would still be in the dark." Tang Bao was furious when he thought about it. "Why did young Master Di meet Mia?" Wan Malay asked curiously. "Go ask He Ju. He should know best." "All right," I asked when he came back. "Don't be angry. The young Master Di is in the wrong now. You can do whatever you want to him." Wan Malay gave her an idea to vent her anger. Tang Bao was not in the mood to deal with Di Haotian at all. When she pushed open the door of the private room, the feeling of falling to the bottom was indescribable. Di Haotian knew that Mia was interested in him, but he still went to see Mia. What was the meaning of this? Did he have to go through so much trouble just to find out who was behind Mia? She saw that Di Haotian was starting to have ulterior motives. In the afternoon, Tang Bao contacted the scriptwriters and Luoluoli to help write the script tomorrow. Luoluoli's script was written, but it still needed to be edited. After all, Luoluoli was a newbie and there were many things that she did not know, so she still needed to find some experienced scriptwriters. She was doing this in the afternoon. After she was done, Tang Bao wanted to leave the studio. She really did not want to go back with Di Haotian. Thinking of Di Haotian's warning, she felt that she was too cowardly. The one in the wrong was Di Haotian. What right did he have to be so domineering towards her? It was as if she was the one in the wrong. Tang Bao did not care anymore. The more she thought about it, the angrier she became. Thus, she called the driver to drive the car up. "What? Who are you driving for?" Tang Bao was angry when she heard the driver's words. "Young madam, this is the young master's order. I don't dare to disobey," the driver said timidly. Tang Bao was so angry that she hung up the phone. "Fine, the driver listened to you, right? Then I'll take the car back myself, okay?" Tang Bao picked up her briefcase and was about to get off work. "President Tang, you're off work?" "Yes." No matter how angry Tang Bao was, her attitude towards her employees was still the same as before. She would not vent her anger on them. However, Xiao Ding was still quite concerned about Tang Bao. "President Tang, did you quarrel with the young master? Who told you?" Tang Bao frowned. We all saw it. Xiao Ding was referring to the employees in the studio. Just as she was about to say something, she saw that the luxury car outside had already stopped. It was black and domineering. If it was not Di Haotian's car, who else could it be? Was she still going to take the first step? Tang Bao felt that no matter how early she was, Di Haotian would always have a way to stop her. Ah, it's the young master's car. President Tang, hurry up and go, Xiao Ding said. Tang Bao was blocked. What else could she do? Di Haotian would not let her go alone. She had no choice but to get into Di Haotian's car. However, Tang Bao's face was still cold. She did not look at Di Haotian and only looked out of the car window. Are you still angry? Di Haotian leaned against her and hugged her waist. Tang Bao did not say anything, did not react, and did not struggle. She treated Di Haotian as air. Besides, what was the use of her struggling? Since it was futile, she might as well ignore him. Bao! Di Haotian kissed Tang Bao's face with his thin lip. Tang Bao frowned but still did not say anything. Then, Di Haotian went even more overboard. Tang Bao was so shocked that she immediately grabbed his hand and glared at him. What are you doing? Don't be angry. Hubby was wrong. Forgive hubby? I won't forgive you. Don't you think it's strange that Mia did plastic surgery according to your face? Tang Bao did not say anything and turned her face to the side. She did think it was strange, but this was not a reason for Di Haotian to meet Mia in private. Even if he had his own reasons, why didn't he tell her? Tang Bao was very angry about this. If you didn't show up, I would have found out who was behind it. Are you saying that I shouldn't have shown up? I already said that I didn't stop you from continuing to meet Mia. Don't put all the blame on me, Tang Bao said unhappily. Why do I think that you shouldn't have shown up? Your jealous look is more interesting than finding out who's behind it. Tang Bao was so angry that her face turned red. She did not want to talk to Di Haotian anymore. Was she jealous? She just couldn't stand the sand in her eyes. Usually Di Haotian had all kinds of control over her. When it was her turn, he actually wanted to get away with it so easily. It was not that easy. When they returned to the castle, Tang Bao was full of unhappiness. When she saw the children, she restrained herself. However, she had a good attitude towards everyone, but she did not want to talk to Di Haotian at all. Come and see. Hongcha 866. Chapter 11-18. After dinner, Tang Bao returned to her room, and so did Di Haotian. Zhang Li and Lian watched the children play outside. Zhang Li asked, Am I overthinking? Why do I feel like the relationship between young master and young madam has worsened? I think so. It's really one trouble after another. Previously, it was young master who was angry with young madam, but now it seems that young madam is the one who is angry. I don't understand. What made them so angry? Zhang Li asked curiously. Lian didn't say anything. After Tang Bao returned to her room, she held her phone and played with it. Even if Di Haotian was right in front of her, she didn't make any eye contact with him. Although Di Haotian's strong presence made her distracted, she would rather be distracted than pay attention to him. Di Haotian leaned forward and hugged Tang Bao. What are you doing? Sitting on me and playing. Why should I sit on you when there's a sofa? Let me down. Tang Bao struggled. If you move again, you'll be responsible for putting out the fire. Tang Bao's body stiffened and she glared at Di Haotian angrily. What do you want? Di Haotian hugged her intimately. How can I not be angry? Tang Bao looked at Di Haotian's fawning expression. No matter how fawning he was still a beast. She thought about it and asked, Do you want to know? Yes. Let me down first and I'll tell you. Okay. Di Haotian really let go of her. After all, he didn't have to worry about a certain little thing escaping from his grasp. After Tang Bao regained her freedom, she sat on the sofa opposite him. She put her fair feet on the coffee table and said like a boss, Kneel down and I'll forgive you. What? Di Haotian's expression changed. You want a man like me to kneel down to you? Don't bother me if you don't want to. Don't even think about it. Di Haotian stood up and left with a sullen face. Tang Bao sneered and continued to play with her phone. However, in the next second, Di Haotian knelt in front of Tang Bao with a thud. Tang Bao was so shocked that the phone in her hand fell to the ground. She stared at Di Haotian, who was kneeling in front of her, in astonishment. This person. She just wanted him to back off, she didn't really want him to kneel. She never thought that Di Haotian would kneel before her. Why did he really kneel down? Di Haotian's big hands grabbed her 2 feet. In front of you, I don't care about my face anymore. Now, you can't be angry anymore. You said you wouldn't be angry as long as I kneel down. Tang Bao only felt the heat and roughness of Di Haotian's palms spread to the soles of her feet, causing her body to tremble. She retracted her feet as if she had been scalded. However, Di Haotian's grip was so strong that as long as he didn't let go, she wouldn't be able to retract her feet. I get up first. What are you doing? Tang Bao didn't want to be kneeled down. I'll get up as long as you're not angry. Are you addicted to kneeling? Who was the one who was determined not to kneel just now? Let go of my feet first. They're very soft and fragrant. I like them. Tang Bao thought to herself, if only my feet were Hong Kong feet, I could smell you to death. At this moment, Zhang Li came to look for Tang Bao. The door was open, and they were in the living room, not the bedroom. Therefore, they could see everything clearly as soon as they came in. Zhang Li was so scared that her face turned pale, and she quickly retreated. Tang Bao didn't expect anyone to come in and forgot that the door was open. Get up. Tang Bao lowered her voice. I'm not getting up. Then you can continue to kneel. Zhang Li, who was outside, didn't want to make a sound. It meant that she had never been there and didn't want to see that scene. She felt that she was very likely to be killed by the young master. What's the matter? Zhang Li pinched her nose. Nothing. I just wanted to ask if you want to eat cake. It's newly made in the kitchen. I don't want to eat it. Don't let the children eat too much either. Okay, got it. Zhang Li regretted it so much. Why did she come over to ask? If she didn't ask, she wouldn't have seen that scene. After saying that, she quickly ran downstairs. Lian looked at her flustered expression and hurriedly asked, What happened? Zhang Li pulled Lian aside so that the children wouldn't hear. I don't know if I should tell you. No, I'd better tell you. When the young master gets angry, the supervisor is there, so I don't have to be so scared. I went to the bedroom just now. Guess what I saw? The young master was kneeling in front of young madam. Lian was stunned and didn't seem to believe it. It's true. Otherwise, why would I be so scared? I really saw it. I'm so shocked. The young master actually knelt in front of someone. Is this still the scary young master in our hearts? He can even kneel in front of his wife so easily? Zhang Li felt that she was dreaming. No, she wouldn't even dare to dream like this. Di Bowling looked at the 2 people whispering not far away and said, What did Zhang Li see that made you so scared? Bao glanced at them. I don't know. It must have something to do with Mommy. I say you two, go to the bedroom and take a look. Di Bowling suggested. Okay, I'll go take a look. Xiao Bao stood up and was about to go, but Bao grabbed her hand and made her continue to sit there. There's no need to go. Bao looked at Di Bowling unkindly. Behave yourself. Di Bowling looked fearless. He felt that he had never succeeded in deceiving Bao. This made him very unhappy. Xiao Bao didn't understand what was going on with the 2 of them at all. She looked left and right. Don't worry about him. Bao pushed the cake in front of her. But, is Mommy okay? Why don't I go and see Mommy? Xiao Bao was a little worried that she had been deceived. There's no need to go. Mommy is fine. Daddy is here, Bao said. Xiao Bao thought about it and agreed. As long as Daddy was here, Mommy would be fine. In the room, Tang Bao sat there while Di Haotian knelt there, still holding onto her two little feet. Tang Bao felt that even though he was holding her feet, her whole body was heating up. The heat went straight to her face. Are you going to let go of me, or not? Tang Bao was angry. She couldn't do anything about it. Bao, don't be angry. Why would I like that kind of woman? Aren't you insulting me? Insulting? She was amused by this word and sneered. I don't think so. When I went in, the two of you were so intimate. Bao, that woman is playing tricks. Can't you see? Don't worry, I'll skin her alive later. If other people said this, she would just take it as a joke. However, Di Haotian was different. Tang Bao's scalp went numb when he heard this. That's Xiao Bao's biological sister. Isn't it enough for you two? Chen Fugue? I was thinking that after I found out who was behind this, I would make sure that their family would never have the chance to enter D City again. Tang Bao looked at Di Haotian from the corner of his eyes. Who do you think it is? Songshu 566. Chapter 11-19. What? 2 million? Luo Luoli looked at Luo Meiwan in confusion. Luo Meiwan was so regretful that she couldn't even lift her head. Her tears kept falling. My mom is playing mahjong with you? Luo Luoli asked in confusion. She didn't believe that Luo Meiwan would play mahjong with these people. Moreover, they usually played mahjong for fun. The most they would lose was around 100 yuan. How could it be 2 million? She immediately felt that something was wrong. She's playing against us, said a plump woman who was about the same age as Luo Meiwan, who had been sitting at the mahjong table. She wasn't the only one. There was another man and woman. Why are you playing so big? Luo Luoli asked suspiciously. I don't even know what's going on. Every time they play, it's always so big. That's why I didn't ask today. It's also because my luck wasn't good. I lost all of them. It was only 200 yuan, but they said that today's game was bigger. They're robbing us, Luo Meiwan said agitatedly. She didn't expect that the people who usually played mahjong with her would cheat her. She felt that they were not bad people, so she always played together. The hooligan next to her slapped Luo Meiwan's face. Luo Luoli was about to go crazy. She went forward and pushed the hooligan away. Get lost. Mom, are you okay? The hooligan who was pushed away didn't get angry. Instead, he looked at Luo Luoli with a perverted gaze. I'm fine. Go. Call the police. Luo Meiwan's mouth was bleeding from the slap. Call the police? Even the police in this area have to call us brothers. Even if they arrest us, it's just for show. When we come out, we'll kill you. The hooligan threatened. Luo Luoli knew that she couldn't fight head-on. She said, Okay, I'll give you 2 million. Luo Luoli took out a card from her bag and threw it directly at the hooligan. There's exactly 2 million in here. Can we go now? The hooligan picked up the card. I don't think you'll dare to play any tricks, but now that I have the money, I want the person too. What do you mean? Luo Luoli couldn't help but panic. This bet is not only about exchanging money, but also cutting off one of your mother's fingers, in case she doesn't learn her lesson the next time she gambles and doesn't pay up. What? You? Luo Luoli couldn't believe that people could be so trashy. He stood in front of Luo Meiwan and said, I won't allow you to touch my mother. Loli, leave quickly. Let's go. How could Luo Luoli ignore Luo Meiwan and run away by herself? Even if she wanted to leave, she would take Luo Meiwan with her. She pulled Luo Meiwan over. Let's go. However, before he could take 2 steps, he was stopped by the hooligans. Little Chili Pepper, don't be so angry. I haven't finished speaking yet. What else do you want to say? We don't have to cut off your mother's fingers. We can even let her go right now, but you have to stay. The hooligan's eyes were filled with something that made Luo Luoli feel disgusted. That's right. Let us have a good time. You and your mother will naturally be safe and sound. What do you think? That's a good deal. Luo Meiwan was scared out of his wits. He begged them, "Cut off my fingers and let my daughter go. I'm willing to cut off my fingers as long as you don't hurt my daughter." "Mom." Luo Luoli pulled Luo Meiwan away. "Loli, go back and wait for Mom. I'll be right back. I'll be fine." Luo Meiwan pushed her. "I'm not leaving. Can't you see clearly? Hurry up and leave." The hooligan next to him laughed leisurely. "You can fight here. If you don't want your fingers, we want you." He pointed his finger at Luo Luoli. "No. Absolutely not." Luo Meiwan protected Luo Luoli. "I'm begging you. Let my daughter go. I'll do whatever you want. Big brother, my daughter is innocent. She's a good girl. You can't do this. Look at what you're saying. Who's not a good man? We're the same. Ah. Get out of my way." The hooligan directly pushed Luo Meiwan away. "Mom." Luo Luoli hurriedly went to help Luo Meiwan, who was about to fall. But he was immediately stopped by the hooligan. He looked at Luo Luoli with a lustful expression. "As long as you obey us, you'll be safe and sound. What's wrong with that? You disgusting people." Luo Luoli was filled with hatred. "Disgusting? We'll let you know right away that no matter how disgusting something is, you still have to eat it." The hooligan went forward and directly pressed Luo Luoli onto the table and kissed her forcefully. "Ah!" Luo Luoli's hands pushed the person on top of her and her head kept dodging. "Loli! I'll fight it out with you." Luo Meiwan anxiously rushed forward but was stopped by the hooligan. She could only watch helplessly as she cried, "Loli! I'm begging you. I'll give you whatever you want. I'll give you a lot of money. Let my daughter go." But those hooligans would not let them go so easily. They were determined to get this beautiful girl. "Since you don't want to kiss, then let's do something more exciting." The hooligan on top of Luo Luoli directly pulled Luo Luoli off the table and forced her to kneel on the ground. Then he took off his pants in front of Luo Luoli. Luo Luoli directly closed her eyes in disgust and wanted to vomit. "You bunch of beasts!" Luo Meiwan screamed. "Come on, don't be shy. Serve me well." The hooligan excitedly pulled Luo Luoli's hair. Luo Luoli's whole body trembled from the humiliation she suffered. Her hand touched the broken glass on the ground, picked it up, and stabbed it directly into the man's thigh. "Ah!" The man retreated in pain and raised his hand to slap Luo Luoli's face. But his hand was caught in the air. The man was shocked. He looked up and met a pair of malicious and ruthless eyes. The next second, he heard the sound of his arm bones breaking. He was kicked out of the room. "Ah!" This was much more painful than the broken glass piercing into his leg. He hit the wall and the whole room shook. Then he fell heavily to the ground. The other hooligans did not have time to react. They were shocked by the men in black who rushed in from outside. Their expressions immediately changed. Gu Linshan pulled Luo Luoli up. "Are you hurt?" Luo Luoli shook her head. She could not hold back her tears earlier, but when she saw Gu Linshan, she could not help but cry. "I'm sorry I'm late." Gu Linshan wiped her tears. He was completely different from the ruthless person he was just now. Luo Luoli still shook her head. Gu Linshan's sinister and terrifying eyes looked around. Then he said to Luo Luoli softly, "You guys go out first. I'll take care of this." Luo Luoli looked at the frightened Luo Meiwan and nodded. She went up and pulled Luo Mei out of the room. The other hooligans could only watch as such a stunner left. They did not dare to go forward. Gu Linshan walked to the hooligan who was still panting on the ground. His eyes were like the devil's as he looked at him. "You actually treated her like this." Shinwu 799. Chapter 11:20. Who the hell are you? Let me tell you, all the police officers in this area have to call me Big Brother. The hooligan said desperately. "I'll let you know who I am right away." Gu Linshan lifted his foot and stepped on the glass shards, crushing all the shards on the outside. "Ah!" A blood-curdling scream was heard. The passers-by outside were so scared that they ran away. Luo Luoli and Luo Meiwan were still standing outside. Luo Meiwan asked worriedly, "Will Linshan be okay?" "Mom, you go back first. I'll wait for Uncle here." "How can you do that?" "It's okay. I'll come back for you after everything is settled. Go back." Lowly. Luo Meiwan wanted to say something, but stopped. "I know what you want to say, but you must have been set up. It's not your fault. I don't blame you either." Fortunately, Linshan came in time. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to make up for my sins even if I died. Luo Meiwan was still scared when she thought about it. She had never encountered such a thing before. She didn't know how a game of mahjong had turned into a huge gamble. "I called little uncle before I came here. So, with little uncle here, nothing will happen. I'll get you a cab. You go back first." Luo Luoli finally convinced Luo Meiwan to leave. Luo Luoli didn't leave. She stood at the door and waited for Gu Linshan. Her hands were clasped together. She was using a little strength and trembling. She knew that Gu Linshan would come, but she was still scared. The sounds of violent collisions and screams came from inside. It was like hell on earth. Soon, Gu Linshan came out. Lowly. Luo Luoli turned around and looked at Gu Linshan. There was no blood on him. He had entered and left without a scratch. It was as if he was just here to play mahjong. Luo Luoli looked into the mahjong room. Other than Gu Linshan's bodyguards, none of the hooligans had come out. Following the direction of the wind, she could even smell the thick scent of blood in the air. "It's all right. Let's go." Gu Linshan held her hand and left the mahjong hall. Luo Luoli got into the car, lowered her head and said, "I'm sorry." "Sorry for what?" "My mom didn't do it on purpose. She was also deceived." Gu Linshan stuffed the card into Luo Luoli's hands and pulled her closer. He lifted her chin and made her look at him. "They're the ones who deserve to die. You don't have to apologize to me. The person you should be appeasing now is me." Luo Luoli's eyes were filled with confusion. She and Luo Meiwan were the only ones who were frightened. Why was she comforting Gu Linshan instead? Why? I can't imagine what would have happened if I had come a moment later. Gu Linshan's heart almost stopped when he saw Luo Luoli being bullied. Luo Luoli finally understood what Gu Linshan meant. Gu Linshan was frightened. "Why didn't you wait for me to come before going in? Didn't you take my words seriously?" Gu Linshan wanted to settle scores with her. Luo Luoli felt a little guilty. I was worried about my mom, so, if something had happened to you, do you think I would have treated her well?" Gu Linshan's eyes were dark and ruthless. Luo Luoli looked at the murderous look in Gu Linshan's eyes in astonishment. Her whole body trembled. Was it that serious? Yes, it was serious, but Gu Linshan was obviously being unreasonable. "You're taking your anger out on me." Luo Luoli pursed her lips and said, "It's good that you know. Is it right to take my anger out on someone else?" Luo Luoli asked angrily. "If something had really happened to you, do you think I would still be rational? Everyone would have been unlucky." Luo Luoli didn't dare to say anything. Although she was fine this time, she was still worried that Gu Linshan would have a problem with Luo Meiwan. She hurriedly tugged at his sleeve. "I'm fine now, aren't I? You can't blame my mom. She didn't want it to happen. Those people were too evil and schemed against her. Little uncle, don't be angry." Gu Linshan wanted to explode when he saw her showing weakness, but when he thought of Luo Luoli's fright, he didn't say anything in the end. He just held her face and kissed her. It was a deep kiss, but it felt more like he was licking her wounds. Luo Luoli's originally restless heart was gradually calmed down. But she thought that was all. However, Gu Linshan's initial pacification became more intense towards the end. "Little uncle! Little uncle!" Luo Luoli called out softly, as if begging for mercy. "Don't move. I'll be done in a while." Gu Linshan directly put Luo Luoli down and pressed his body heavily on top of hers. Luo felt that Gu Linshan was a little out of control at this moment. It was as if he desperately wanted to know if this was true. Could it be that Gu Linshan was provoked by what had happened in the mahjong hall? Was it because of her? Luo didn't struggle when she thought of this. She gripped the seat tightly with both hands and endured Gu Linshan's impatience. He was like a wolf that had run out of the forest and was galloping wildly on the prairie. There was no gap, no protection, no pause. The car had already stopped by a secluded roadside. The sky had already darkened. Luo was calmed down in Gu Linshan's arms. The musky smell in the car was so strong and scorching. She felt as if all the uneasiness she had been enduring had been soothed. There was no longer any panic or fear. Luo lowered her head and put on her clothes. Her back was facing Gu Linshan. Gu Linshan hugged her from behind. "Do you want to go home? I have to go to my mother's place. She must be waiting anxiously at home." It was all Gu Linshan's fault. What did he mean by "in a while"? His "in a while" was too long. "I'll go with you." Gu Linshan's voice was low and hoarse beside her ear. Luo only felt her heart tremble. Then, she nodded. Luo Meiwan had been waiting at home for Luo. She didn't dare to call her and didn't even go out for dinner. Her heart was hanging by a thread. Although Gu Linshan was here and Luo was safe, this matter was still a big deal to her. How did they deal with those people? Would it affect Gu Linshan and Luo? These were all her worries. She regretted it so much that she didn't know what to do. Mahjong was a game that everyone played in their free time. She didn't come here every day. It was rare for her to play. Why was she the only one who was fine? The sound of the door opening could be heard. The door opened and Luo walked in. Gu Linshan followed behind her. Luo Meiwan felt uneasy for a moment. She felt ashamed to face her mother. If it wasn't for her, she would have almost harmed her own daughter. "Mother," Luo called out to her. "The matter, how is it going? Do you want me to go to the police station?" Luo Meiwan asked. "No, it's already been dealt with." Luo Meiwan looked at Gu Linshan. "Linshan, I didn't know it would turn out like this. I almost harmed Luo." "Mother, how can you say that you harmed me? Isn't everything fine now? Besides, I called uncle in advance. Nothing will happen. At most, she will be bullied. Those people have been punished," Luo comforted her. Ad Songshu 566. Chapter 11:21. Gu Linshan said, "This matter is not as simple as it seems. We may need to investigate further." Luo was slightly taken aback. "What do you mean?" "Yes, I feel that something is amiss too. My mom always plays mahjong for fun. How could she play so big with them? Could it be that we offended those mahjong friends?" Offended them?" Luo Meiwan tried to recall. "No, I don't go there every day. I only go once in a while and leave after the game. I know them, but it's not to the extent of offending them. Why would they harm me like this? It's okay. I'll investigate this matter. It's best if it's money grubber and nothing else." Gu Linshan's expression was cold. Luo Meiwan looked at Luo helplessly, but this matter could only be left to Gu Linshan to investigate. They did not have the ability to do so. There was no cooking at home, so the three of them went out to eat. On the way back, outside the car, Luo said to Gu Linshan, "I want to accompany my mom tonight. Is that okay?" Gu Linshan looked at the car, his expression not looking too good. "I'm going back tomorrow. I'm worried that my mom will be stressed after this incident. I want to comfort her. Otherwise, I won't be at ease." Gu Linshan looked at her coldly. "You want to comfort her, but why didn't you think of comforting me? It's not like I didn't comfort her in the afternoon." Luo's voice became softer as she spoke. Gu Linshan looked at her shy expression and his heart softened. He agreed. "I'll pick you up tomorrow." You don't want to? Then don't go." Luo had no choice but to keep quiet. Otherwise, Gu Linshan would not let her sleep at her mother's place. Gu Linshan agreed so easily because he wanted to investigate this matter. Gu Linshan had just returned to the mansion when the bodyguard received a call. After answering the call, he walked behind Gu Linshan. "Young Master Gu, we've found the man. Bring him here." An hour later, a fat man in his 50s was thrown in front of Gu Linshan. Gu Linshan sipped his tea and watched the news on TV. It was all about the stock market and finance. The fat man knelt in front of Gu Linshan. Gu Linshan continued to watch his TV and drink his tea as if he did not see him. The fat man on the ground lowered his head and looked left and right. He was frightened by this grand and unfamiliar place. Who was this man? He was just a mahjong shop owner. He didn't offend this person. Gu Linshan was still watching TV a second ago, but in the next second, he threw the teacup in his hand at the fat man's head. The fat man fell to the ground and clutched his head. Blood flowed out from between his fingers. The glass shards scattered on the floor. Gu Linshan leaned back and pointed at the shards on the floor. "Kneel." The fat man was so scared that his whole body trembled. "Spare me, what did I do? Why are you doing this to me? I don't know you." The bodyguards behind him didn't waste time talking to him. They lifted him up and made him kneel on the glass shards. His pants were thin, so he felt pain when he knelt on them because of his weight. The fat man's face was distorted and his head was still bleeding. He was in a sorry state and his face was trembling with fear. The owner of the mahjong shop? Gu Linshan seemed to finally have time to talk to him. Yes, it's a small business. I didn't do anything wrong. I don't know how I offended you. If I did, I can make it up to you. I apologize, the fat man said, trembling. Do you know Luo Meiwan? Gu Linshan asked. Panic flashed across the fat man's face. It's okay if you don't want to talk. I'll let you know what it means to live a life worse than death. The fat man knew about the incident at the mahjong shop, but he escaped. I know, but I had no choice. Someone forced me to do it. I didn't do it alone. There were 3 mahjong friends. Don't worry about that. The 3 of them are disabled. The fat man was so scared that he couldn't speak. Do you want me to use something to pry open your mouth? Gu Linshan asked. This method of prying open his mouth was definitely not a good thing. It sounded especially horrifying. I'll talk. The fat man said anxiously. The 3 mahjong friends were disabled. Would it be his turn next? He didn't want to be disabled. Moreover, his appearance just now was too frightening. He didn't dare to hide anything. A woman told me to do it. What woman? She's a beautiful woman. Gu Linshan's expression was a little fierce. He seemed to be enduring. Beat him. The bodyguards went forward and beat the fat man until he was wailing like a ghost and howling like a wolf. His injuries worsened and he rolled around on the ground. Who knew how many bones in his body were broken? Blood covered the ground. After they stopped, Gu Linshan said, Can you tell me the whole story now? I'll talk. It was a woman who came to me. I don't know who she was. She offered me 5 million yuan to work with the 3 mahjong friends to harm Luo Meiwan. I only agreed because I was greedy for money. The fat man was afraid that he would be beaten again if he didn't tell the whole story. He added, that woman was about 1.6 meters tall. She looked like a strong woman. Although I don't know her name, I saw her car license plate. After the fat man said the car license plate, Gu Linshan's expression changed slightly and revealed a sinister look. He couldn't hide the viciousness in his eyes. The fat man trembled in fear. That woman asked those hooligans to rape Luo Meijuan's daughter. She didn't want her life. Gu Linshan looked at the fat man with a vicious and murderous gaze. He got up, walked towards the fat man, and squatted down in front of him. Do you know who Luo Meijuan's daughter is to me? I don't know. How dare you make this deal if you don't know? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Can you spare me on account of my honesty? If I kill you and then apologize to you, will you accept it? Gu Linshan looked at him viciously and asked. I didn't kill Luo Meiwan and her daughter. It's the same to me. Gu Linshan picked up the glass shards on the ground and plunged them into the fat man's neck. The fat man fell to the ground and clutched his neck with both hands. No matter how tightly he clutched his neck, he couldn't stop the blood from flowing out. He didn't struggle much before he breathed his last. His eyes were wide open. He didn't expect that after all the evil he had done, there would be someone more vicious than him who would die in such a way. Get rid of this filthy thing, Gu Linshan ordered and left the hall. The bodyguards carried the fat man's body out and the servants cleaned up the bloodstains in the hall. Gu Linshan went into the study and turned on his computer. He called his secretary. I want all the transactions of the Lin Group over the past few years, whether it's on the surface or in the dark. Yes. Gu Linshan threw his phone away. The anger in his heart couldn't be appeased for a long time. Welfare, Hongcha 866. Chapter 11:22. He should not have avoided the Lin family. How could he have become so benevolent after returning from the Middle East? But this kind of thing would not happen again. In a short week, all the transactions of the Lin Group became public. Whether it was the stock market or the production transactions, they were all hindered from the outside world. In just a few days, the company suffered heavy losses and fell to the bottom. Lin Ji was anxious in the company. He had meetings every day to deal with the problems. But in the end, it was all in vain. The shares were decreasing every day and the production transaction side refused to meet. He wanted to go to the bank to get a loan, but all the banks were closed to him. No matter how easy it was to get a loan in the past, it was useless now no matter how many times he went. How many years had the Lin Group been around? How could such a problem occur? A tall tree attracts the wind. Someone must have set it up behind the scenes. But even if he had been set up in the past, it was not as serious as this time. And he could solve it easily. There was no way to solve it now. Who was the one behind all this? However, the person behind this incident had surfaced. It was Gu Linshan. When his subordinates told him, he could not believe it. You mean Gu Linshan from the Gu Group? Yes, it's him. How could this be? Why would he do this? Lin Ji could not understand. In the end, he could only think of his daughter, Lin Xiangting. Lin Xiangting had been traveling abroad recently. Did it have anything to do with her? Go out first. Yes. Lin Ji called Lin Xiangting. Lin Xiangting's voice came from the other end. Dad, I'm traveling. Didn't you say not to call me if there's nothing important? Let me ask you. Did you provoke Gu Linshan recently? Lin Xiangting was sitting by the hotel's open-air pool, wearing a bikini and sunbathing. She suddenly became nervous. What's wrong? No. No? If not, why would Gu Linshan create trouble for the Lin Group? What did you say? How would I know? Lin Ji interrupted her angrily. Are you going to tell me the truth or not? Lin Xiangting knew that she could not hide it anymore. She decided to tell the truth. I didn't look for Gu Linshan, but I went to cause trouble for Luo Luoli and her mother. What? If you're looking for them, you might as well look for Gu Linshan. Don't you know that Gu Linshan dotes on his niece like a treasure? But you arranged a marriage between Linshan and me. In the end, I still have to do it myself. Lin Xiangting was also unhappy. She only wanted to marry Gu Linshan. She didn't care about anyone else. Was she going to spend the rest of her life alone? Why should that little bitch Luo Luoli stay by Gu Linshan's side? Then do you know that your ignorance caused the Lin Group to go bankrupt? Lin Ji was furious. What bankruptcy? How could the Lin family go bankrupt? Because of Gu Linshan's revenge on the Lin family. Go online and look at the news. It's all about the Lin Group now. Look at what you've done. Lin Ji was furious. Also, what did you do to Luo Meiwan and her daughter? Tell me clearly. Before hanging up the phone, Lin Ji wanted to understand the situation so that he could plead with Gu Linchen, for the sake of the friendship between the two families. But after hearing Lin Xiangding's words, Lin Ji felt like he was going to faint. This was really the family's misfortune. Old Master Gu didn't care much about the Gu Corporation anymore. Gu Linchen was in charge, but that didn't mean that he didn't know anything. He thought that the Lin Group's crisis wasn't a big deal. They had survived the financial crisis, so what was this? But Lin Ji came to visit him personally. Old brother Gu, you have to save me. Old Master Gu had never seen Lin Ji lose his composure. He quickly asked, "What's wrong? Sit down and talk." Lin Ji sat down and was extremely anxious. This is Xiang Ting's fault. If I knew that she would do such a thing, I would definitely stop her. The Lin Group is going bankrupt. Is it that serious? Old Master Gu asked. Lin Ji nodded with a pained expression. If the mastermind doesn't let go, the Lin Group will have to declare bankruptcy. The mastermind. Old Master Gu looked at Lin Ji. Is it Gu Linchen? Old brother, I really didn't want to trouble you, but the Lin Group is the Lin family's business. It can't be gone when it's in my hands. What's the reason? Old Master Gu asked. Thinking of something that could make Gu Linchen lose his mind, he quickly asked, "Did Xiangting do something to Luo Luoli?" Lin Ji nodded. He felt like he couldn't lift his head. What did Xiangting do? She framed Luo Meiwan. She even asked hooligans to humiliate her daughter. Old Master Gu's expression changed slightly. He was furious. What is this? Lin Ji quickly comforted him. Yes, Xiangting is insensible. I really didn't expect her to do such a thing. Linchen definitely won't be appeased now. Old brother, please help me on account of the friendship between our families. Your daughter really disappoints me. She even resorted to such despicable means. Old Master Gu was also furious. I'm sorry, old brother. I really regret it now. Why did I give up this daughter of mine? She has always been mature and capable. But because she likes Linchen too much, she became muddle-headed for a moment. A moment of muddle-headed? Lin Ji, how many times has this happened before? You watched Linchen grow up. Don't you know his temper? Even I don't dare to cause trouble for that little girl. But you guys keep coming to her door. What do you want me to say? Now that things have come to this, I can't do anything about it. I've told Xiangting so many times, but she still did it. Maybe it's because she doesn't want to accept it and thinks that she should be the one to marry Linchen. She's obsessed with Linchen. Old brother, this is the last time, okay? If it happens again, I won't come to you again. Lin Ji promised. What's the point of telling me this? Even if I plead on your behalf now, do you think it'll work? Old brother, as long as you try, I won't complain even if it doesn't work. Really? Old Master Gu didn't say anything, but he knew in his heart that Gu Linchen's son wouldn't listen to him. Since when did he listen to him? It was already good enough that he didn't fall out with him. The Lin Corporation was so big that it could be destroyed so easily by Gu Linchen. What did other people think of the Gu family? Burning the bridge after crossing the river? Although there was no such thing, what would other people think? Okay, I'll tell Linchen one last time. If it doesn't work, there's nothing I can do, Old Master Gu said. Lin Ji was almost moved to tears. Okay. Thank you. When I get back, I'll be strict with him and make Xiangting give up on Linchen. After Lin Ji left, Old Master Gu called Gu Linchen. Gu Linchen picked up. Come back. I have something to ask you. Hongcha 866. Chapter 11:23. If it's about Lin's group, then forget it. Do you really want Lin's group to collapse? Just scare them a little. Scare. Gu Linchen seemed to have heard something funny. I haven't even settled the score with you yet, and you're actually pleading for Lin's group? What did I do? Old Master Gu was furious. Was this something a son would say to his father? If you hadn't nagged me before, would I have spared Lin's group? If I had destroyed Lin's group earlier, this situation wouldn't have happened. Old Master Gu was rendered speechless. But Lin's group still has a chance. What? Let Lin Xiangding come to me personally and beg me. Really? You'll let Lin's group go just because she begs you? Of course, I mean what I say. Okay, I'll talk to Lin Ji. After Gu Linshan hung up the phone, the corners of his mouth curved into a bloodthirsty smile. Beg him? She was begging the wrong person. What? Beg him? Lin Xiangding was a little unwilling to receive Lin Ji's call. Did he really say that? You did such a thing. Why don't you beg him? What do you want to do? Linshan is already giving you this opportunity because of old Master Gu. Or do you really want Lin's group to collapse? Lin Xiangding was proud and arrogant, but she didn't want Lin's group to collapse. If Lin's group collapsed, she would have nothing left. But thinking about it, Gu Linshan gave her this opportunity. Did it mean that he still had feelings for the Lins? Or was it that Luo Luoli wasn't that important, and she could still see Gu Linshan again, right? Lin Xiangting had already made up her mind. If Gu Linshan wanted her to beg, she would. In front of Gu Linshan, it was nothing. She would just treat it as begging her future husband. What was wrong with that? She was willing to do it. So Lin Xiangting packed up and returned to the country. When she arrived in D City, she hadn't returned home yet. She asked the person who came to pick her up at the airport to take her things back. Then she asked the driver to send her to Gu Linshan's company. When they arrived at Gu's company, Lin Xiangting deliberately pulled down her collar and touched up her makeup. Then, he went upstairs. Almost everyone in the Gu family knew her, so they didn't stop her. Lin Xiangting walked all the way to Gu Linshan's office. The secretary saw her and immediately walked up to her. Miss Lin. I'm looking for young Master Gu. Young Master Gu is not here. If you're not in the company at this time, where are you? Master Gu should be in the suburbs. Suburbs? Are you busy? Although Master Gu is busy, it would be different if Miss Lin went to look for Master Gu and gave him a surprise. Lin Xiangding looked at the secretary's smiling face and said, You really know how to talk. Do you know the address? As young Master Gu's secretary, I know his schedule. After Lin Xiangding got the address, she asked the driver to send her to the suburbs. She only told Lin Ji that she was coming back and then went to look for Gu Linshan. Gu Linshan probably didn't know when she came back. Since she was going to plead for him, shouldn't she be more sincere? Moreover, if Luo Luoli wasn't by Gu Linshan's side in the suburbs, wouldn't she have more chances to be with Gu Linshan? Lin Xiangding was very excited at the thought of this. She also felt happy. Men would definitely take the bait as long as she seduced them. Lin Xiangding believed that she was better than Luo Luoli. It took about 3 hours to get to the suburbs. Lin Xiangding, who was sleepy, opened her eyes when she felt the car stop. Have we arrived? Miss, it should be here, right? But why is this place so remote? The driver got out of the car. Lin Xiangding got out of the car curiously. There was a construction site in the distance and many migrant workers were busy working. The sun made them look tanned and rough. Even the safety helmets couldn't hide their dark and poor faces. Looking around, there were trees and grass that grew naturally. Could it be that Linshan bought this land? Why did he buy it here? Miss Lin, you're also an elite in the business world. How could you not know that the governor is preparing to develop this land? Lin Xiangding turned around when she heard a voice behind her. Looking at the person who had just arrived and the bodyguards in black behind him, Lin Xiangding looked familiar. He was one of Gu Linshan's men. Where's young Master Gu? He asked me to come. Young Master Gu asked us to pick you up. Please come with us. Lin Xiangding followed them, but she felt that something was wrong as she walked. Why did this atmosphere make her so nervous? Especially when they passed by the construction site. The migrant workers seemed to be staring at her greedily and disgustingly. Was she imagining things? Gu Linshan asked her to plead for him. She was here to plead for him. Everything should be fine, right? She trusted old Master Gu. At the back of the construction site, there was a one-story house. It was connected for a long time. It looked like a place to rest. Gu Linshan was inside? The bodyguard stopped in front and let Lin Xiangding in. Miss Lin, please come in. Lin Xiangding felt uneasy, but Gu Linshan did not make her think too much. She just wanted to see Gu Linshan as soon as possible. But when she went in, she found that Gu Linshan was not inside. Where's Gu Linshan? Is he not here? Lin Xiangding turned around and asked the bodyguard at the door. The bodyguard's face turned cold. Miss Lin, young Master Gu asked you to stay here for the time being. What do you mean? Lin Xiangding finally felt that something was wrong. I want to leave. As she spoke, she wanted to go out, but she was stopped by the bodyguards, making it impossible for her to go out. You, Miss Lin, young Master Gu said that since you like being raped so much, why don't you have a taste of it? The bodyguard said. What did you say? Lin Xiangding's face turned pale with fright. Did you see those migrant workers on the way here? Are they working hard and poor? Those are men without women. They don't even have the most basic way to relieve their desires. So, they will be very happy to see Miss Lin here. What did you say? Lin Xiangding thought of the way those migrant workers looked at her. She could not help but feel cold all over. Her face was as white as a sheet. Then, she rushed to the door like a mad woman. Go away, let me go. Let me go. Let me go. The bodyguard pushed Lin Xiangding hard. Lin Xiangding lost her balance and fell to the ground. Miss Lin, I advise you to be sensible. Otherwise, losing your virginity is a small matter, but losing your life is a big matter. But don't worry, those migrant workers work hard. They have plenty of strength. Don't worry. You'll be very happy. Come in, all of you. The bodyguard instructed. Lin Xiangding saw many migrant workers walking in. They were dirty from head to toe. Lin Xiangding could not stand looking at them. Beauty novel, Xinwu 799. Chapter 11:24. Not to mention touching her. The way he looked at her frightened her. She quickly begged the bodyguard. I want to see Gu Linshan. I want to see Gu Linshan. Let me see him. He can't destroy me like this. Please, let me see Gu Linshan. He won't do this to me. I don't believe it. Miss Lin, there are 150 migrant workers at this construction site. 10 of them are in around. I hope you like it. The bodyguard kicked Lin Xiangding away and said to the migrant workers, Don't worry, it's not against the law. This is a reward from young Master Gu. If she gets pregnant, she can give birth to your children. Then you will have children to carry on the family line. You can't let her run away. If she runs away, you won't have a woman to vent on. I want a vent. I want her to give birth to my children, the migrant workers said excitedly. Lin Xiangding was so frightened that she couldn't speak. Her tears kept falling. No. No, the bodyguard turned and walked out of the door. They were not worried that Lin Xiangding could escape from the migrant workers. There were so many hungry migrant workers who wouldn't give her a chance to breathe. Ah, no. Lin Xiangding's heart-wrenching screams could be heard from the unsound-proof room. In the bedroom of the Gu family mansion. Write it like this. No. How can you write it like this? Then write it like this. No. Should I write it or should you? In the room, Gu Linshan held Luoluoli on his lap and taught her how to write a novel. Luoluoli was about to break down. What was wrong with this person? Every time she wanted to write something, Gu Linshan would tell her what to do and force her to sit on his lap. Could it be that Gu Linshan was interested in writing novels? Luoluoli didn't believe that Gu Linshan was deliberately being a hooligan. Because of those explicit descriptions, Gu Linshan never got tired of it. In the past, he insisted that she write, but she couldn't use it even if she wrote it. It was just because of his own bestial nature. You can't write well. Little uncle will teach you. I don't need you to teach me. Lualuali struggled. No, you have to do as I say. Otherwise, I'll take you and make you cry until you're out of breath. Lualuali wanted to cry but had no tears. Did he think that he would give up just because he wrote as he said? Why aren't you writing? Gu Linshan was like a big bad wolf coaxing a little lamb. Come on, write what I say. Uncle, I want to pee. You haven't even written your reaction yet? So fast? No, I really want to pee. Lualuali didn't know why Gu Linshan would confuse peeing with that kind of reaction. However, she didn't want to think about it. Do you really want to pee, or do you want to run? Lualuali felt very guilty, but she still had to appear calm. No, I really need to pee. All right then. Come again when it's smaller. I'll wait for you. Lualuali was released, but why was she so unhappy? Because she would still have to come back if she went. After Lualuali went to the bathroom, she dawdled in it. Gu Linshan obviously knew Lualuali's method of peeing. He waited there, and the longer he waited, the more impatient he became. If you don't come out, I'll go in and get you out, Gu Linshan threatened. Lualuali was speechless. Why did he have to use the word get? It wasn't like she fell into the toilet bowl. I'm not done yet. At this time, your bowels should be done. You're not done yet? Lualuali squatted on the toilet bowl, her face red. Uncle was too rude. How could he speak like that? She also knew that she couldn't keep delaying. Moreover, she felt that her legs were a little numb. If she didn't get up now, she wouldn't be able to. If she couldn't get up, Gu Linshan would definitely come in and see her without pants. Forget it. She would go out herself. In the end, she dragged her heavy body into the bedroom. Your legs are numb? Gu Linshan looked at her limping body. Yes. Lualuali stood not far away and didn't go over. Uncle, why don't we take a bath and sleep? Are you inviting me to take a bath with you too? That's fine. That's not what I meant. I just want to sleep. Gu Linshan's sharp gaze pierced Lualuali's eyes. Come here. I don't want to go over, Lualuali refused. Then she saw Gu Linshan suddenly stand up and walk towards her. She was so frightened that she turned and ran. Don't come over, don't come over. I really want to sleep. Lualuali was directly pressed down on the bed by Gu Linshan. Uncle. Lualuali's face was red. Was she unable to escape the fate of being pressed down on? Let me see if you really want to sleep. How do I see this? How do you want to see it? Uncle, I want to write a novel. Lualuali looked up at Gu Linshan, who was like a wolf, and felt suffocated. You won't have the chance. Gu Linshan directly tore her clothes. These are new clothes. Throw them away and buy them again. So what if you're rich? In the morning, Gu Linshan and Lualuali were eating breakfast at the dining table. Lualuali felt uncomfortable sitting in the chair, and frowned at Gu Linshan. I said I would bring it to you, but you insisted on coming down. Gu Linshan looked at her coldly. Blame me? Isn't it all your fault? Lualuali didn't want to criticize him for his evil deeds. Just thinking about it made her blush. Who asked you to be so sweet? Sweet? What's sweet? Your body is sweet. Lualuali was depressed and didn't want to say anything else. Her body was sweet? It was clearly an excuse for his beast nature. At this moment, a servant walked in and stood at the door of the dining room. Young Master Gu, someone is here to see you. Lualuali was puzzled. So early? Who is it? It's Mr. Lin Ji. Gu Linshan's expression was cold. Can't you see that I'm eating? Yes. The servant was frightened and quickly left. When she reached the iron gate outside, she said, Mr. Lin, it's not convenient for young Master Gu to see you. You'd better leave. Lin Ji thought that he had come here because he was too anxious. He only had one daughter and she hadn't been home for the entire night. She said that she had gone to see Gu Linshan. Of course he was worried. May I ask if Lin Xiangting has been here before? No. Lin Ji thought about it and decided to go to the Gu Corporation to see Gu Linshan. Luo Luoli asked, "Uncle, who is it?" "Eat your food," Luo Luoli said. Oh. She didn't ask any more questions. She thought to herself, Lin, who is it? Gu Linshan went to the office. Just as he went upstairs, his secretary said, "Young Master Gu, Lin Ji of the Lin Corporation is here to see you. He's been waiting for you for more than an hour. He's in the reception room." Gu Linshan's expression was cold. "Let him come." Soon, Lin Ji arrived at Gu Linshan's office. No matter what, Gu Linshan was still a junior. When Lin Ji and Old Master Gu started their business, Gu Linshan was still young. Now, Lin Ji had to take care of him. Come and see. Hongcha 866. Chapter 11:25. They had been waiting for him for more than an hour. Even when Old Master Gu was in charge of the Gu Corporation, he had never been like this. "Uncle Lin, have a seat." "Why are you still standing?" Gu Linshan sat down on the sofa. Lin Ji sat down. "Linshan, I apologize for what happened to Xiang Ting. I didn't educate her properly. If not, this wouldn't have happened. On account of my old age, please let Madam Lin and Xiang Ting go. I'm begging you." "Uncle Lin, why do I feel like you're talking about a trivial matter? Do you think I can forgive what happened to your daughter? She has offended me more than once, right? Why didn't you come to me at that time? Since you don't know how to educate your daughter, why don't I teach her a lesson for you?" Gu Linshan showed no mercy. Gu Linshan was most afraid of Luo Luoli being humiliated. He would never forget why Luo Luoli had climbed into his bed at that time. If she hadn't been so scared and had nowhere else to go, would she have done that? How many times had Lin Xiangting done such a thing? He felt that he was being too kind. "Linshan, I know it's Xiang Ting's fault. She knows that she was wrong and won't do it again. Linshan, this is the last time, okay? If it happens again, I'll let you do whatever you want to me." Lin Ji's tone was very humble. "Uncle Lin, do you want to do it again?" Gu Linshan smiled coldly and looked at Lin Ji, who was at a loss for words. He said word by word, "This is the last time." His the last time and Lin Ji's the last time were definitely not the same. He wanted to put an end to it. He would never have the chance to do it again. "Linshan, what you're doing won't do you any good. If the Lin Corporation goes bankrupt, it will affect the Gu Corporation. Do you really want to do this? Let me tell you, I won't let the Lin Corporation go even if I have to fight to the death. They cross my bottom line and don't need to beg for mercy. Uncle Lin, you'd better go back and think about how to sell the Lin Corporation at a good price. Otherwise, the longer it drags on, the less valuable it will be." Gu Linshan said ruthlessly. Lin Ji's face turned pale, and he seemed to have aged a few years in an instant. "Linshan, I've watched you grow up. How could you not care about me? Uncle Lin, if you really didn't care, the Lin family would have been gone long ago. Don't tell me you don't remember what Lin Xiangting did to Lolita? I can forgive you for other things, but not for Lolita. If you hurt her, you'll have to bear my revenge." Lin Ji knew that Gu Linshan was a vengeful man. However, he gave birth to a foolish daughter who kept provoking Gu Linshan's bottom line. In the end, she probably still thought that Gu Linshan would show her mercy. "Can I ask you where Xiang Ting is?" "Don't worry, she's still alive. As for whether she will die, that will depend on how long she can last. Can I choose between Xiang Ting and the Lin family?" "I only need to choose one," Lin Ji said anxiously. "Choose one? Uncle Lin, I'm suddenly curious about what you'll choose." Lin Ji was silent. He seemed to be struggling in his heart and making a painful choice. Gu Linshan waited patiently for Lin Ji to make his choice. He was quite curious about it. "I choose the Lin family. You can do whatever you want with Xiang Ting. Are you sure? Uncle Lin, you only have one daughter. Are you going to have another one? Lin Ji didn't say anything, but Gu Linshan had spoken his mind. He loved Lin Xiangting and nurtured her, but she was so irrational that she caused the Lin family to be in such a state. The Lin family's business was the foundation of the Lin family. If it was destroyed because of this, he wouldn't be able to rest in peace. Without Lin Xiangting, he could still have another one. Although he was over 50 years old, it didn't mean that he couldn't have another child. If he had another child now, he could still inherit the Lin family's business. I'm quite satisfied with this answer. So, seeing your sincerity, I'll buy the Lin family's business at a high price. What do you think? What? You? Lin Ji stood up agitatedly. Uncle Lin, you have to know that even if you sell the Lin family's business now, it won't be as high as what I'm offering. You're making a profit. Gu Linshan, don't go too far. Then you have to blame yourself for not teaching your daughter well. Go back and think about it. It's okay if you don't sell it. After all, I'm not the one who loses out. See the guest out, Gu Linshan said in a low voice. The secretary walked in. Mr. Lin, please. Lin Ji was trembling with anger. He felt like he was going to have a stroke at any time. He didn't expect that he would be forced to lose everything by Gu Linshan, even though he had already settled for the second best. Lin Ji was dealt a heavy blow. He staggered towards the door. He left the Gu family's business in despair. When the secretary returned, she said to Gu Linshan, Young Master Gu, Mr. Lin fainted. Send him to the hospital. Don't forget to send a flower basket. Yes. The secretary thought, Oh, you're even sending a flower basket? Are you sure you're not going to kill him? If Lin Ji is finally saved, will he stop breathing the moment he sees the flower basket you gave him? However, the secretary didn't ask. She was just curious. How did the Lin family offend young Master Gu? He was really ruthless. He didn't give them any face at all. In the afternoon, Luo Luoli went to Ibao studio to write with the scriptwriters. They were all hired by Tang Bao with a high salary. Naturally, they did their best. After writing a paragraph, even Tang Bao had to look at it. At this moment, Xiao Ding stood at the door of the meeting room. Tang Bao walked out. What's wrong? Someone seems to be waiting for you at the door. Is it young Master Di Haotian? Tang Bao was puzzled. It can't be, right? If Di Haotian was going to leave T, wouldn't he come to her studio? Tang Bao went downstairs and looked at the door. It wasn't Di Haotian's car. It was Gu Linshan's car. Because the two of them were especially ostentatious and strict, they looked very similar. That was why they were mistaken as Di Haotian. Tang Bao was about to ignore them when the car door opened. Gu Linshan's tall figure walked out and walked towards the studio. So it's not young Master Di. Why does he look so familiar? He seems to have come to the studio before, Xiao Ding said. I came here once, Tang Bao said. As soon as he finished speaking, Gu Linshan had already entered the studio with a cold face. Tang Bao was about to greet him when Gu Linshan went upstairs, as if he didn't see him. Tang Bao was speechless. Xiao Ding was speechless. Did this person treat this place as his home? How could he ignore his boss like this? Tang Bao looked at Xiao Ding's worried expression. Could it be that he's here to cause trouble? It's okay. I'll go and take a look. You go and serve tea. Tang Bao went to the second floor after he finished speaking. When he entered the office, he saw her sitting in her seat with a calm expression. Where's Lolita? Tang Bao didn't care about his impudence. She's still in the meeting room. You can go and find her. Xinwu 799. Chapter 11:26. At this point, the script was no longer important. Gu Linshan was as crazy as Di Haotian. Why would Gu Linshan look for her in the meeting room? Luo Luoli would definitely be unhappy, and he still had to take her feelings and pride into consideration. Tang Bao was so easy to talk to, but he was definitely scheming. If Gu Linshan fell for her trick, he would be too incompetent. Shouting poured some tea and brought it in. She was stunned when she saw the person sitting behind the desk. She felt that this man was very powerful. She placed the tea on the desk and turned to leave. How long will she be like this? I want the exact time, Gu Linshan asked impatiently. About a week. That's all I can give, Tang Bao said helplessly as he sat on the sofa. Luoli should have told you, right? I want to hear it from you. Gu Linshan's eyes were cold. Tang Bao rubbed his nose. Was he afraid that Luo Luoli would lie to him? You can leave now. I'll wait for her here. Gu Linshan chased him out. Tang Bao couldn't believe it. Young Master Gu, this is my office. Did I say it's not? Gu Linshan retorted. Tang Bao was speechless. Just as Tang Bao's expression froze, a black figure suddenly appeared in front of the office door. He walked in with a tall and straight posture. Tang Bao looked at Di Haotian in a daze. Why was this person here? The way he looked at Gu Linshan with his sharp black eyes was very intimidating. Could it be that he immediately came over when he saw Gu Linshan? Tang Bao felt his stomach churn. Don't look like you're facing a formidable enemy when a man comes over, but it was good that he could chase Gu Linshan away. Gu Linshan looked at Di Haotian and asked, Why? Am I going to eat your wife? I'm not here for her. Don't be nervous. Di Haotian sat beside Tang Bao. Although he did not hug Tang Bao, his posture was still so domineering that it could not be ignored. Then shouldn't you wait here? Can't you wait in the car? I'm thirsty. Can't I have a cup of tea? Gu Linshan picked up the teacup in front of him and sipped it leisurely. Di Haotian's face was gloomy and cold. He didn't say anything. It was obvious that he was emotionally unstable. Tang Bao felt that he was really unlucky to have bumped into someone like that. Why did Gu Linshan insist on waiting in her office? She was still sitting on her seat. It was not as if he did not know about Di Haotian's possessiveness. After drinking the tea, Gu Linshan thought of something and asked, Did you install a surveillance camera here? They came too quickly. Tang Bao lowered his gaze. As expected of Di Haotian's friend, he really knew him well. However, although he didn't install a surveillance camera in the office, he did install one at the door. Of course, he still had to give his man face outside. Who said he installed a surveillance camera? He comes to see me every day at this time. What's wrong? Are you unhappy? You don't have to give me face. I did install one, Di Haotian said. Tang Bao's mouth twitched. Gu Linshan almost choked on his tea. He quickly put the teacup aside and took a tissue to wipe the water off his mouth. Since you're here, I have something to ask you. Is Lin Corporation interested? Gu Linshan asked. Di Haotian glanced at him. You don't want it? We'll split it equally. Di Haotian's eyes were sharp. I didn't expect Lin Corporation to be destroyed by you. No one in the business world could believe it. After working with you for so many years, it was taken over by you. Didn't old Master Gu look for you? What's the use of looking for me? I'm definitely going to destroy Lin Corporation. Gu Linshan's eyes were cold. Tang Bao wondered if this Lin Corporation was the same Lin Corporation that was mentioned online. Lin Corporation also invested in film and television. Last year, they had invested in a movie and earned almost 1 billion yuan. To Tang Bao, this was a lot. He was a dark horse in the entertainment industry. But in front of these two big shots, 1 billion yuan was like 10 yuan. So, did Lin Corporation accidentally offend Gu Linshan? Tang Bao didn't know much about the feud between the Gu family and Lin Corporation. From what he heard from Di Haotian, the two families were in a cooperative relationship. If they could offend Gu Linshan, it must be something big. It seems that your man has suffered a lot. Di Haotian hit the nail on the head. Gu Linshan's expression changed, but he didn't say anything. Tang Bao understood and asked Di Haotian, Does it have to do with Lolita? If it wasn't for this, would he have gone to deal with Lin Corporation? I also heard that Lin Ji was so angry that he had a stroke and was hospitalized. The daughter of the Lin family disappeared without a trace. It seems that the Lin family is done for. You're really ruthless. Gu Linshan looked at Di Haotian as if he had heard a joke. Don't make it sound like you're very benevolent, okay? You're the king of D City. Di Haotian was fearless. His expression didn't change, as if they weren't talking about him. If this happened to her, you would be even more ruthless than me. Gu Linshan pointed at Tang Bao. Tang Bao looked at the person who was pointing at him and asked, "What happened to Lolita?" Di Haotian hooked his arm around Tang Bao's shoulder and pulled him forward. She hurt his little heart, so of course he wants to take revenge. This is their business. Don't interfere. Is it my place to interfere? I just want to ask if Lolita is okay, Tang Bao said. Actually, she wasn't worried that Luoluoli would be bullied. There were no adults in the family, and Gu Linshan was one of them. But looking at his expression, it should be more threatening than dangerous, Tang Bao said as he looked at Gu Linshan. Gu Linshan leaned back in his chair and asked, "Do you want a share of the profits or not? The Lin Corporation has invested in film and television," he added. Di Haotian's expression didn't change. "Why wouldn't I want to have money?" Tang Bao listened to the two of them talk about how to divide the Lin Corporation. Lin Ji was still lying in the hospital. If he heard what they were saying, he would probably die. Tang Bao stood up and left the office when he saw that they were talking about the Lin Corporation's interests. She wasn't interested. The more she listened, the more she felt that these two were more than just ruthless. Yu Lianlian had told her before that Di Haotian was a person who would never lose out in business. She had finally seen it for herself. When they arrived at the meeting room, Tang Bao looked at the results of their writing until the scriptwriters left. Tang Bao said to Luoluoli, "Your youngest uncle is here." Luoluoli was stunned. "When did he come?" "He's been here for more than half an hour. But don't worry, he's in my office talking to Di Haotian now." "Oh, that's good." Tang Bao looked at Luoluoli and asked, "Did something happen to you recently?" Luoluoli was puzzled. Did her youngest uncle tell Tang Bao? "Did my youngest uncle tell you?" "No, I just overheard him talking to Di Haotian about dividing up the Lin Corporation." "Did the Lin Corporation do anything to you?" Tang Bao's gossipy side was getting restless. She couldn't ask Gu Linshan, but she could ask Luoluoli. "Dividing up the Lin Corporation? Didn't you see the news? Search for the Lin Corporation on the web and everything comes up." Hongcha 866. Chapter 11:27. Luoluoli believed what Tang Bao said. She was also very surprised. Was it because of her? Actually, it was Lin Xiangding, the daughter of the Lin family, who framed my mother for gambling and hired a few hooligans to bully me. My youngest uncle must have done something to the Lin family because of this. But it's one thing to settle the score with Lin Xiangding, but why did the Lin family suffer as well? Luoluoli was a reasonable person. Whoever was in the wrong should bear the responsibility. Lin Xiangting would not pity her. "You don't have to worry about this. It seems that Lin Xiangting is nowhere to be found." Luoluoli was slightly stunned. "Where did she go?" "I don't know." Although they said this, both of them knew that it could only have something to do with Gu Linshan. Lin Xiangting is too vicious. Even if my youngest uncle did something to her, I won't plead for her. You don't know how many times she has framed me. She doesn't have a good memory at all. If it was just me this time, it would have been fine, but she even framed my mother. That's true. This kind of person is unrepentant. If we let her go, similar things will happen again, Tang Bao agreed. Fortunately, you're fine. Lin Xiangting's family has also paid the price for this. We don't have to worry about other things. Since they want to take over the Lin family, then let them do it. We just have to take care of our own little territory. Luoluoli smiled. Yes. Gu Linshan knocked on the door with a cold aura. Can you leave now? President Tang. Oh, I can. Hurry up and leave. Otherwise, some people will be angry with me, Tang Bao said to Luo Luoli. Luo Luoli blushed. She said goodbye to Tang Bao and left with Gu Linshan. Tang Bao also tidied up and went back to his office. Di Haotian was still sitting in his office. As she walked towards her desk, Di Haotian pulled her over. Tang Bao fell onto Di Haotian's sturdy legs and pounded his chest. What are you doing? The next time Gu Linshan comes, don't let him into the office. Do you think I can stop him? Did you stop him? No. Di Haotian gripped her chin, his dark eyes dangerous. I've already warned him not to enter your office, let alone take your seat. Next time, you just have to stop him. Tang Bao was stunned. Did you really say that? You suspect me? Tang Bao was silent. She should not have doubted that Di Haotian would really do that. Everyone knew about his possessiveness. It was fine in front of her, but couldn't he restrain himself a little in front of her? She wanted to give face to Di Haotian, but he was unwilling and insisted on pushing her away. Since he did not want to accept it, she had nothing else to say. On the way back, Luo Luoli thought about what Tang Bao had told her and took out her phone to search online. She typed in the words Lin Group, and the news that came out was all about the company going bankrupt and being acquired by the Gu Group. This was really a big deal. What's there to see? Gu Linshan snatched her phone away. Luo Luoli was stunned for a moment and the phone left her hand. She could not snatch it back. Anyway, I've already seen it, Luo Luoli said. Tang Bao must have told you. Youngest uncle, is the Mr. Lin who came to see you this morning Lin Xiangding's father? Yes. Gu Linshan did not intend to hide it from anyone. If he acquired the Lin Group, he could be even more high-profile. Isn't this a little inappropriate? What's inappropriate about it? Gu Linshan's dark eyes flashed coldly. I don't have any objections to you going to Lin Xiangding. Her father did not frame my mother. That's a different matter. That's true, but I like to be ruthless. Gu Linshan looked at Luo Luoli. His dark eyes were smiling, but his smile was ferocious. Lowly Luo swallowed her saliva. Being ruthless was indeed his style. Now she felt a little sorry for Lin Xiangding. If Lin Xiangding fell into Gu Linshan's hands, how miserable would it be? It was unimaginable. Luo Luoli approached Gu Linshan with a little curiosity. Youngest uncle, can I ask you something? Lin Xiangding. Luo Luoli was stunned. How could he tell? Gu Linshan glanced at her. What you want to say is written all over your face. Luo Luoli touched her face. She must have been too curious and made it too obvious. But she did not care and continued to ask, Youngest uncle, where is Lin Xiangding now? Is she with you? Why don't you make a guess? I can't guess. If you can guess, you'll have to climb over my head. Luo Luoli thought to herself, I wouldn't dare climb over your head. Tell me, how will you treat Lin Xiangding? I'll treat her the same way she treats you. It's very fair, Gu Linshan said unfathomably, his eyes cold. Luo Luoli thought for a while and asked, Don't tell me you hired a hooligan to do that to Lin Xiangding? How could that be? Hooligans don't have the right to do that. Luo Luoli looked at Gu Linshan's unfathomable expression. Why did she feel that Gu Linshan's words were so untrustworthy? They're all migrant workers without women. They work hard during the day and need to vent at night. Otherwise, wouldn't they be too pitiful? Migrant workers. Luo Luoli was startled. About 200 of them, Gu Linshan estimated. Luo Luoli was dumbfounded. 200? Was he trying to take Lin Xiangding's life? Don't worry, I won't take her life. I still want her alive. Otherwise, those migrant workers won't have a place to vent their frustrations. I'm a good boss, Gu Linshan said. He did not feel guilty at all. Luo Luoli's scalp went numb when she heard this. Gu Linshan's methods were really frightening. Now, not only did she pity Lin Xiangding, but she also deeply sympathized with her. The hatred she had for Lin Xiangting in the beginning was nothing. It was really a miracle. No, Gu Linshan's treatment was really a miracle. But Luoluoli did not expect that old Master Gu would come looking for her. In the afternoon, Luoluoli received a call from old Master Gu in the meeting room of Ibao Studio while editing the script with the scriptwriters. Tangbao, I'm going out for a while. I might be back late. Is it urgent? It's nothing. Gu Linshan's father is looking for me. Tangbao nodded and watched Luoluoli leave. He felt that Luoluoli must be looking for her because of the Lin group. Didn't the Gu group and the Lin group have a cooperative relationship? Gu Linshan did not feel guilty at all, but old Master Gu was different. He had to take the Lin group's reputation into consideration. If he could not persuade Gu Linshan, then looking for Luoluoli was a good idea. In a cafe not far from tea, Luoluoli sat opposite old Master Gu. She was not too nervous. Instead, she smiled and said, "Grandpa, what kind of coffee do you like? But I think coffee is bad for the stomach. I'll order you a cup without caffeine." Hongcha 866. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Nights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.